I am your unemployed friend that spent 6 weeks consuming her life with Love Island, and now it's time to get into my thoughts. What's good, guys? It's Alissa. If you're new here, hello. First things first, y'all know I gotta get the formalities out of the way. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. All that information is in the description box down below. If you are here from TikTok, I want to first say thank you guys for being with me along this whole Love Island journey. We will now be meshing reality TV, cartoons, and all that stuff over here on the main channel because I just feel like it's appropriate. But anyway, you can also subscribe to my second channel, which is a lifestyle channel that I post on sometimes, and then I also have a Sims channel, which I'm honestly thinking about starting a maybe Sims Love Island live stream thing going on, or maybe just a recorded series. Y'all let me know if you're subscribed on my Sims channel with how we should proceed there. I also did start up my analytical podcast again if you guys are interested in that. Also, give me topics to talk about. I low-key ran out of stuff to talk about, so if you guys have any suggestions on what the heck I should talk about, please let me know. And of course, I want to thank my patrons over on Patreon for continuously supporting me through this journey. You guys get early access to not only this video but future videos down the line. I also let you guys know anything I have going on first and foremost, and for my next 𝙈𝙪𝙗 video I actually put up a poll to see which one we will be talking about next, and thank you to the one person that voted on Patreon. Thank you for being an active member. But the Mr. DiMartino video won, so that will be the 𝙈𝙗𝙗 video for this month, unless you guys see this video and then all of a sudden decide to spam the poll, which I kind of doubt, but it's okay. Anyway, y'all, let's talk about Love Island USA Season 7. Man, what a journey this has freaking been. Of course, if you have not seen the season, if you are not caught up, spoilers are ahead. I'm gonna get into all the people that got voted off. I'm gonna get into my favorite couples. I'm gonna get into all the couples. I'm gonna get into the drama, the Huda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, the Jeremiah of it all, the JD of it all, the Chris of it all, the Alandria of it all. We're gonna get into all of it. To start things out, let's just get the people that we kind of don't really care about out of the way. And I do want to put a disclaimer, or just a community note here at the beginning of the video. Please do not spread any hate in the comment section of this video. Please do not spread any misogyny, any misogynoir, any harassment. Do not talk about these people in a way that you would not like to be talked about. These are people at the end of the day. We watch them on screen make a lot of mistakes, do a lot of good as well, but do not speak about these people in a way that you would not like to be spoken about. I am not condoning any bullying, any harassment in the comment section of this video. We're just gonna have typical Love Island reality TV show commentary. We good? We good? Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with the voted off contestants, and I want to start with Charlie. Now, Charlie was a bombshell that came in with Sierra. Charlie was a British bombshell that came in with Sierra. Honestly, not really thinking too much about him. He didn't really make an impression. Now, one of his funniest moments, in my opinion, was literally when Pepe came into the villa and Pepe was trying to dap him up, basically saying he gonna pull Hannah for a chat, and Charlie was not going for it. Honestly, I feel like Charlie was on the verge of a crash out ever since Pepe came into that villa. Honestly, anybody that was giving his girls attention, I feel like he was on the verge of a crash out. He was interested in our girl Shelly to begin with, but Shelly didn't end up picking him at the recoupling, and I feel like from that moment he was kind of having a low confidence time on the villa. And then when Hannah gave him the time of day, then I feel like he started to gain his confidence back. Because I feel like that's a thing that happens in Love Island, where people that aren't necessarily desired or would be desired, and then they come on Love Island and are not like a hot commodity. I think that they get into their head a lot about that. I feel like Amaya went through that journey. We seen her crying and just going through a really hard time, which is why I appreciated Nick's speech to her in the end, but we're gonna get into all of that later. I feel like he was just having a very low moment of self-esteem, and I feel like Pepe was threatening that in him a little bit. But overall, Charlie didn't really give much. Like I said, he was interested in Shelly in the beginning. Shelly didn't want him. She didn't stand up for him when it was between him and Sierra at the recoupling. Hello? He gave us that iconic moment at that first dumping.
I just want to say...
No! Are you dead ass right now?
Listen.
No!
When Amaya was like, no, we don't want to do that. Because, y'all, I couldn't be the only one that thought he was about to stand up and send himself home. And he did not. He was literally pleading his case to stay with Hannah because he felt like they made a great connection, but they ended up voting him off anyway. And honestly, I feel like that moment with him and Amaya, where Hannah started talking to Pepe, Charlie's confidence was starting to get low, and he pulled Amaya. Oh, I forgot all about this stuff. He pulled Amaya for that chat, and Amaya shut it down immediately because she's like, I came in with Hannah. That is one of my best friends in the villa. I would not do her like this, and you're using me as revenge. I felt like that was the moment that solidified Amaya's vote to send him home. And I mean, as we get into the rest of the people that were voted off, we will see that not a lot of them really even gave us much, honestly. So that's why I'm kind of gonna fly through this stuff. Next, I'm gonna talk about Jaylen. I did not follow Jaylen post the dumping because just, not that he gave nothing, but he just wasn't my cup of tea for like content that I wanted to get into. You know, more power to him. I hope he continues to have all of this success post the villa, but I feel like his time was so short-lived. Jaylen's whole purpose, of course, I think anybody with eyes can see, was to get in the villa, distract Alandria, or at least try to pull Alandria away from Taylor. And it was unsuccessful. It was unsuccessful. Alandria was stuck on Taylor by design, by Taylor's design, because Taylor wanted to stay in the villa. Taylor felt like his spot was threatened with Jaylen coming into the villa, and I mean, it was, because she was showing a little bit of interest in Jaylen, and I feel like she could have picked him, should have picked him, but we would not be at the point that we are in the end if she did. So everything that happened in this villa, I'm not gonna complain because I couldn't ask for a better ending. Now, one thing that I will say that threw me off with Jaylen in the villa was, as much as Alandria was talking about she wasn't physical to start, she's not physical to start. She has to get to know you. As we see, her and Taylor would do small pecks here and there, but that was after they would start to have more conversation. Of course, like I said, spoilers, when we get into the end, she starts talking to Nick more, but of course, Nick and her started out as friends. So I feel like that let her guard down with him to be more comfortable kissing, plus the challenges. Everybody kisses and challenges, and I feel like that's everyone's boundary, is like kiss and challenges. Outside of that, it's a no-go. But I feel like even with Alandria setting that boundary, I kept feeling like Jaylen was trying to continuously like get a peck out of her, a cheek kiss, and it was just like, I mean, if I said I'm not trying to kiss, that means I'm not trying to kiss. And then I felt like production was a little bit weird for their choice of date. When all the bombshells came in, which was Jaylen, Pepe, and Iris, they went on a beach date, my dream date. And he knew that. They went on a beach date, and Jaylen and Alandria's date was to massage each other. I thought that that was a clear violation of Alandria's boundaries, because she has been very vocal about how she's not touchy-feely to start. She doesn't want to do all the physicality to start, and then production decides to have their date be a massage date where they're touching all over each other. And I literally was like, Jaylen better watch his hands, because I'm not going for none of that. I thought that was weird, but overall, like, Jaylen didn't really do much in the villa, and then got dumped. All the girls had voted for Huda. All the guys pretty much voted for Jaylen to go home. I think the only guy that voted for Huda actually was Ace, but I'll get into him later. I don't know what that was about. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about that. But speaking of the bombshells, let's get into Hannah. I probably could have organized these names a little bit more, but I literally was on the NBC website just listing names in my categories. So no particular order here. Let's talk about Hannah. Honestly, I loved Hannah. Hannah was my favorite bombshell. In the beginning, I was like, oh, like she kind of gives nothing. But as we started to see how she get down, I was messing with how Hannah got down, honestly, because she started out, who did she start talking to? Charlie. She was talking to Charlie. Her and Charlie kind of were just not getting that much screen time when they were in a couple together. And I feel like that's what made me feel like Hannah was boring until Pepe came into the villa. Then they kind of get into this love triangle thing where Charlie now sees Pepe as competition. He don't want to lose his girl. And I liked Hannah. We start to see her personality more. I never really checked her socials before the villa, so I didn't know what she was like. But seeing her post villa and seeing how she makes TikToks and stuff, I'm like, she seems like a fun girl. She seemed like a fun girl in the villa from what we saw when she started to open up more when she was with Pepe. And I enjoy seeing Hannah on my screen. Yeah, I guess that's all I got for Hannah. If I'm forgetting anything, let me know. Let's get into Vanna and Hannah. Vanna is a Casa girl, so we're getting to the Casa people now. So Vanna was a Casa girl, and honestly, the whole situation with Vanna and people talking about her looks I thought was honestly very cruel. But one thing I will agree with Vanna was that she's from like Utah or whatever, and I think that her going into the villa, she thought that she was more of a hot commodity than she was. And I was talking about this with someone, and I was like, it's kind of like what Childish Gambino said in that song where it's like a New York 9 and everywhere else 6. And this is all desirability politics. This is like not even anything that anybody should be putting any weight into in these conversations. But I feel like maybe where she's from, she's kind of a hot commodity because she has that aesthetic that's like kind of an LA aesthetic, West Coast influencer girl aesthetic. So probably in Utah, that's not something that people are used to. Never been to Utah except in a goddamn layover. Would love to go again because it was beautiful. It literally looked like a freaking National Geographic magazine at the airport and even on the plane, but would love to go to Utah for real. But I'm like, maybe where she's from, you know, her aesthetic is something that people desire. But again, like we're going to get into later, on Love Island, the whole purpose of people getting casted is because everyone is gorgeous. So in a sea of all gorgeous women, everybody is going to have their pick and their type for the gorgeous women that are on the villa. So it was just some of the language that Vanna was using when she was talking to Ace that I was like, I think that she thinks that she's going to automatically be liked on this villa. And unfortunately, that was just not the case for her. Mind you, Vanna was like 21. She seems like a very sweet girl. Like Vanna didn't do anything to anybody at all. Like she kind of just got the short end of the stick because it was just a very messy situation on the villa at the time that she came. But Vanna was a great girl, and that was about it. Now, somebody that didn't give anything was Zach C. I'm gonna make this really quick. Zach C gave absolutely nothing. Like Zach C is giving so much more post villa than in the villa. And nobody was even really picking him. And the next person I'm gonna talk about, nobody even picked him either. But Zach C gave literally nothing. Who was he even coupled up with? Iris? Iris was stuck on TJ. She was like, sorry, Zach, like it's really nothing for you that I can give, or there's nothing here for us. She really, yeah. Zach C. I don't know. He's been hanging with the finalists I've seen. He's been giving personality, but in the villa, I got nothing for you, Zach, unfortunately. Let's get into JD. I can tell you like to be dominant.
Like being dominant.
Bruh. JD, I'm telling y'all, JD gave me bad vibes off rip. JD won. They went to Casa, more the girls went to Casa. Nobody picked him. Nobody picked him at all to kiss, nothing. Nobody picked him. And I didn't even notice. But like I said, I was doing TikTok lives for every episode, watching it with you guys. And I'm like, and you guys pointed that out. I'm like, nobody picked JD. That's a little strange, don't you think? But here's the thing that threw me off with JD off rip. And I was like, something in the milk ain't clean about him. Something in the milk is not clean about JD. And I was right. And not even to like revel in the fact, but I was just like, I don't know. Because we're coming off the heels of the just draining activities of Huda and the Jeremiah situation. I was like, it's kind of throwing me off that JD really wants to be paired up with Huda and is making it a point to point out like, hey, you know, I've had my crash out moments too. I don't mind a girl with a little fiery side, this and that, da 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 da. And it was, of course, fine for him to say it was okay that she had a child. But it was that part right there that I was just like, here's the thing. Just like with somebody I'm gonna get into later. Seeing how Huda behaved previously, it was just throwing me that anybody would want to be coupled up with her because you're basically setting yourself up for what just happened. And it's like, why are you okay with that? And why are you okay with wanting to be the guy that like either saves her or just wants to have these drama moments on TV, or I don't know. It was just toxic, and it just gave me he likes toxic and he's also toxic. So I was like, that's a little weird to me. Just for us to get into, what was it? It was the racing challenge where it was like Casa versus the Villa. You know, Huda did her big one as she usually does in the challenges, but then post the challenge, he pulls her to the side and it's like, you like to be dominant, and one, he started off saying he was kind of reading her energy and seeing that she was not receptive to that. And I'm just going to say JD gives me that he was not necessarily the pick all the time. And he worked out and changed his aesthetic to be aesthetically attractive, but his personality is not anything that anybody would want to be with. And I can tell that that moment with Huda was like triggering him in that way, because he started the conversation with, I could tell you like to be dominant, like you were doing your big one or you were giving it your all. And she was like, well, like I had to pick up your slack and this and that. And he was like, whatever, you like to be dominant. And I don't like that, because I feel like whatever the hell he was freaking talking about, just dumb stuff. And then she was like, okay, we'll find somebody submissive. And then she was like, okay, and walked off. Then he switches up from you were doing your big one, you know, you were doing basically, you know, you were giving it your all, we were trying, we're doing good too. When he sees that she's not receptive, now that's why we lost. No, I don't think that's why we lost. I just think that you don't like that she gives it her all in these challenges, or that she was being dominant in the challenges. And, you know, maybe this was a situation of he just didn't like her kissing up on the other guys. She was getting down on Chris. I can't lie. That was a good little kiss they had at the challenge, but maybe he didn't like that and he didn't know how to express that. And maybe he was just having a moment of jealousy. Who freaking knows? That moment was weird. And then when 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙗 is over, and then we have to split up the couples, and they do that thing like the door challenge where it was like, okay, I'm gonna write your name down, put it up. If I don't pick you, then boom, shakalaka. But JD is not picked. Y'all, his face when he was not picked, I'm telling you, that man gives like reformed incel or covert incel. I'm not even kidding, but I'm not gonna lie, I kept seeing JD down my TikTok timeline, and I do have him blocked. I think he's the only Islander that I have blocked, because I feel like he has just been capitalizing off of his 15 seconds a little too much, and I just don't want to see that man on my screen. I do see him in other people's stuff, that's fine, whatever, but I don't want to see any more of his stuff down my timeline, especially not those damn TikToks he was making previously with if you're skinny fat, if you're skinny fat, if you're skinny fat. I'm gonna see if I can put the clip in here, because that was actually ridiculous.
If you're skinny fat, if you're skinny, calories in being skinny fat. If you're skinny, if you're skinny, if you're skinny, if you're skinny, if you're not with skinny, if you're skinny, if you're skinny, if you're being, if you're skinny, if you're.
Let's get into Coco. Now, here's the thing. Gorgeous girl, gorgeous gowns. Loved Coco, would have loved to see her in the villa to start. But what is this thing that's happening post villa, where now all of a sudden everybody has these strange differing opinions that I guess it's not anything that I wouldn't have expected, but it's kind of like, maybe it's just not who I thought, you know, where it's like, oh, I definitely see you girls, you know, getting along. This is my like it's not even a crack ship, it's like a friendship, like literally a friendship ship. But would have loved to see her hanging with the black girls, you know, the Alandrias and the Shellys, and they're kind of being a trio. But seeing as how the show progressed, I like the finalist group that we have, and I'm gonna get into that. But Coco was on a podcast. I made a TikTok about it, and she wasn't necessarily talking mess about Alandria. I'm gonna clear that up. She wasn't talking mess about Alandria. She was just saying what we were all saying on the outside, was that she was my man, my man, my man. That's all fine and dandy. But I guess like Coco was kind of talking from a perspective of like, she was there for a very long time. Now, mind you, Alandria was in Casa because they did that fake out with her getting dumped and then her and Nick coming back. But it was just weird. She was post Villa. She was just talking as if she was there for a very long time about the girl. She was saying that Shelly was not that nice or something like that, or was giving her the cold shoulder. But then Huda was very sweet. And it was like, mind you, the girls, Shelly and Huda, were in Casa more. So you barely even rubbed shoulders with them walking past, and you had to pack your bags and leave. So I was just confused as to why she had so much to say post Villa about that kind of stuff, especially knowing that people are going to be exiting the villa. But I feel like a lot of them have that issue right now. A lot of the people that were voted off pre the finale, excluding Shelly and Ace, but it was like they just were doing a lot of this, you know, and it was just like, be cool, be calm. And I feel like a lot of them are trying to capitalize off the fame that they had in the villa. Perfectly fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But you just kind of see for real, who was really the stars of the show and who serve their time in the villa. But anyway, Coco, I liked her in the villa. Why she chose Taylor, the world may never know. I really think it was just because Ace and Taylor were the only black guys left in the villa. I do think that Jeremiah would have been a hot commodity had he had been in Casa, but that was not what we got. So it was between Ace and Taylor. And maybe they picked Taylor because of the height, but Ace got Vanna. And then Coco didn't even kiss anybody that was non-black, mind you. She gave them like kisses on the cheek. But then it was one moment where Coco had like, she was talking to Taylor when they started to get to know each other. And I could tell she was like looking at the top of his head, analyzing his face. And I was like, she don't really feel him like that. I was like, she's over analyzing him in this conversation. I could tell she's not feeling him like that. And she ended up going with Ace. So I feel like her and Ace did have a connection. If she said it after Sun, if she was there from the beginning, you know, she would have bagged that. And more power to her. I'm not denying that at all. I just feel like Ace and Shelly just had so much more time in the villa to go through their ups and downs to be at the place that they're in now, which mind you, they both also chose each other at the recoupling after Casa. So here we are. Love it. Coco didn't really get much screen time. Honestly, Coco didn't give much in the villa either. She was a gorgeous girl and I just would have loved to see more of her for that reason, but she also didn't give much. Another person I didn't give much was Jaden. Jaden was coupled up with, I think she was with Austin to start. I think she was. And then as she got to know the guys, she was feeling Nick a little bit, but then she stayed with Austin. And that made Nick go home. And yeah, Nick went home for a short while, and we'll get into that later. But Jaden also didn't really give much. I feel like her and Austin were the perfect pairing because they sound alike, they talked alike, and I was like, oh, I see this. I was confused as to why she picked Austin, but I honestly feel like a lot of people that were in Casa felt like they were going to pick people that weren't in a solidified couple, like Nick and Sierra and Taylor and Alandria, which is why Zach K ended up picking Amaya in my opinion, but I'll get into that. I feel like Jaden just picked Austin because Austin was by himself. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say about Jaden. She didn't really give too much. Eye makeup was great. She was gorgeous. I loved how big and full her eyes were. I literally make my Sims like that all the time. It's just my aesthetic. But eye makeup was always eating. People were saying that Alandria was copying her eye makeup. And I'm like, mind you, Alandria has also been doing the dramatic wing since day one. I digress. Let's get into Grayson. Grayson also didn't really give much. She was coupled up with Pepe. Pepe ended up telling her in the end that he was not feeling her. He wasn't feeling her. He was stuck on Hannah. Mind you, him and Iris ended up being in the finale, but I digress. Man, I feel like Grayson kind of had a really hard time in that villa when they did that mail challenge and Huda wrote that note to her. Everybody's like, who wrote that? Who wrote that? And she didn't speak up. I knew that we were never going to get a resolution on that. We're probably going to see that at the reunion in August, but I had a feeling we were never going to get a resolution on that because I feel like it was already so much going on and it was just skated over. And then Grayson also just ended up going home. So it's like, what's the point of even bringing this up? Now, I did think that it was a little, she just had a really hard time with the villain. That's all I'm gonna say. She just had a really hard time in the villa. Pepe wasn't feeling her. He kind of let her on a little bit, but I do appreciate his honesty in the end of all that, just to say, hey, it's not giving, girl. I don't see it for us. And that's okay. Felt bad, but all you can do is be honest. Let's get into Zach K. Everyone was super excited for, I was eating Takis. Everybody was super excited for Zach K to get into the villa when it was revealed that it would be him. Apparently he was friends with Miguel from the previous season. And then we see him and then he opens his mouth. Zach K opens his mouth. He talks very, 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 very fast. Now, his accent was fine. Of course, like everybody, that's not like everybody has an accent. It's regional. He just talks very fast. So I feel like that kind of made his stock go down with everybody. Plus, he just ended up being a little weird. He's another person. Did I block him? I think I also blocked Zach K. I'm not gonna lie. He has been posting very weirdly post Casa or post Villa, just completely obsessed with Amaya Papaya, and it's very weird. He's one of those that's capitalizing off of his Villa time in very strange ways. People were comparing him to Kane from last season, and that's like horrifying. Yeah, no. I was not feeling him in the villa. One, it was between Alandria and Amaya for him at Casa Amor. Now, Amaya was very much at risk to go home. So I'm not knocking how she was moving in the villa because like you got to do what you got to do. And I feel like that's how the girl should have been moving from day one because this is Love Island. But that is not the show that we got. But you can just tell that he wanted physicality. And he was trying to act like physicality wasn't one of the main reasons why he chose Amaya when really it freaking was. And he stands up, picks Amaya, Alandria ends up going home. All hell broke loose in that damn villa. Huda is screaming like somebody died. Shelly is wailing over Alandria's suitcase. Mind you, Alandria is like standing tall that whole time and I cried. I cried on the episode and chat was like, why are you crying? I was like, look, you got me. I'm a crybaby. I cry everything. So when Alandria started crying, when she was like, you know, I'm strong. I gotta be this and that. And then she started crying. I was like, okay, now I'm crying. That was a very sad episode. But Zach was just very weird. All the way to the end when we do the challenge where we had to vote our favorites. And it was like 10 freaking polls. Mind you, I did not vote. I think I voted in one of those. Did not vote in all of them because at this point in the villa, I was like, who the hell am I supposed to be voting for? It was like, who's the most genuine? Who do you want to go on vacation with? Whatever the hell. I was like, nobody on this villa I think is genuine. I'm like, I have my guaranteed, like, I don't even know. I think at the time I didn't even have a guaranteed favorite. But it was like, I know for sure who I want to vote at the bottom. And that was Taylor at the time, of course. Look, y'all, I was talking about it in my podcast. Taylor, oh my gosh, we gonna get into him. But I was like, for sure, Taylor, I'm voting last. Everybody else, I have no idea. Like Chris was kind of at the top because he wasn't really making me mad and pissing me off like all the guys do eventually in this show. But Pepe has been cool from start to finish. So I think Pepe was at the top. But I'm like, I could not vote in those polls. I have no idea. But anyway, Zach starts switching up on Amaya. Mind you, he has been talking and we can see it all in his face that he is not feeling her. We get the male challenge prior to this favorite voting thing, and he was stepping in to say that he also feels like Amaya be doing too much. And then they had a conversation prior to that male challenge and he was like, he didn't want to kiss her. So y'all, it was so weird. She kissed him and I felt like I didn't want to kiss you, but I did anyway. It was like, why are you just now saying this stuff? Like Zach was so weird. Just for after that, and Amaya kept being voted number one. And now he's like, oh yeah, I love Amaya Papaya. Oh, America loves us, sir. America doesn't love you. America loves Amaya. This is not a package deal. And that's why I'm so glad she ended up picking Brian in the end because, oh my God, like what a disaster that would have been if freaking Zach would have been our finalist. He wasn't ever making it to the end. We did not like him, so that was never happening. But yeah, Zach was weird. I was glad to see him go. He was also voted out with his buddy Elen. Elen went home as well. I'm not gonna lie, Elen was kind of funny, but Elen was messy as hell, y'all. Elen was so messy, it didn't make no damn sense how messy Elen was. It was him pretending, y'all, it was him pretending he was gathering up pillows, listening to Amaya talk to, I forgot who Amaya was even talking to. Pretending he was fixing the couch. Brings the information over to Zach to say, oh, Zach, by the way, the Amaya is over there saying this, and whoop de. I was like, what, bruh? Too messy. They upstairs talking on the terrace. The football come over there. He get the football listening to the conversation. I was like, what? Then they do that challenge. And I literally was just talking to the stream and saying, oh my God, Elen is so messy, this and that. He get to doing that challenge where they got to do the pie, or it was like the crash out challenge. Talking about I crashed out when Nick came back from being voted off. I was like, he just wants to get reactions out of people. His main thing with doing the heart rate challenge was to make Nick mad. He gonna grab Sierra and do this, that, and this and that, and this and that. Mission accomplished. Nick was pissed the fuck off. But I was just like, Elen was so messy. And in the end, like he just never made a connection with anybody. And I think that's why, because he was so dang messy. And I feel like it was giving more bestie westie than it was giving like we're together. But he was grasping for straws, talking to Amaya, talking about, what did he say? Taco Tuesday. I love tacos. So he had to go. He had to go. Next, we have TJ. TJ ends up going home with everybody pretty much. I think that was when Grayson, Andreina, who else went home? Austin. Thank God. Thank God. All of them went home. Honestly, TJ gave nothing to. Look, I really don't have nothing to say to TJ. I don't. He was coupled up with Iris and Who else was he coupled up with? I think that was it. I think it was coupled up with Iris the whole way. Iris was with Jeremiah. We know how all of that went. And then she ended up really having a connection with TJ, and TJ really was having a connection with her. Like, she was the only person that he's had eyes for, and they were together to the end. She was crying boohoo that he went home. I think they did do the nasty. Can't lie, I think they did do the nasty. But yeah, I can't really say too much on TJ. He was cool with the guys, I guess, but I don't really have much on him. Thank you for your time in the villa, TJ. Let's get into Andreina. Andreina. I gotta get her name right. I just be trying to say it quick as hell. Oh my god, my girl. I loved her so freaking much. I can't lie. I loved her from the moment she walked in. She came in on a perfect episode. We got her on the Megan Thee Stallion episode. Y'all, let's talk about that real quick. The Megan Thee Stallion episode was literally hands down the best episode of the season, y'all. It was a dark, looming cloud over the villa, and Megan Thee Stallion came and brought rainbows and freaking sunshine. Literally loved that episode. We got to see everybody, and I mean everybody, shaking that thing. And it was just a fun time. And then we get Andreina and TJ. Now, I was literally like, Andreina? TJ. Andreina? TJ. Like, it was just no competition. It wasn't a competition, but it was like, y'all get Andreina and the girls get TJ. And it was really gassing it like TJ was really something to be coming in that villa. And it was like, versus Andreina? This is not fair. Now, mind you, she did say, I'm going to take your man. And she didn't end up taking anybody's man, but it's like, it's the sentiment, it's the thought that counts. Like, and I think even when she was saying that, she was just like, it's just weird coming in as a bombshell and you gotta like take people's man. Like, oh, I'm coming in like, I'm gonna take your man. Like, that was the context of the whole thing. Like, she wasn't coming in there saying like, I'm taking your man, taking your man, taking your man. She was just like, it's weird, I'm coming in as a bombshell and that's my job. But I loved her. I really did. I really liked seeing her connection with Jeremiah, and it was crazy to see how that went so south, because it was like literally as soon as she gets out of the villa, like, talk to Jeremiah. But then the mail challenge happened, and Ace was like, hey, Andreina, do you think that Jeremiah was doing too much? And she was like, yeah. That just messed it all up. Jeremiah ended up unfollowing her after saying immediately out of getting out of the villa when he was talking to Speedy that he followed her. After that, he unfollowed because he was like, I mean, if she feel like I'm doing too much, I'll step back. We can talk about it. Whatever. Andreina does an interview saying like, oh, if that's all it took for him to be like, it's a wrap, then I'm sorry, maybe you ain't the one for me. And I got it. I understood what she was saying, because I'm like, seeing Jeremiah's time in the villa, he was very much a people pleaser. He was. So it's like, I feel like he does kind of anything that people says. Like, he's just, and it's not even that he was doing that in this moment, but it's like he just wants to look good at any moment. It's like they had a conversation, she explained what she meant, they didn't talk any after that, and it's like, mind you, they don't have to. They don't. But it was just like, dang, what a sad ending to that love story, because I really thought that they were going to be something post the villa. She was talking to Brian. Brian was saying that she was boring. Mind you, I was giving Brian boring allegations from the beginning. I was like, I don't know how I feel about Brian. I felt like he was definitely attracted to Andreina because like, duh. But I felt like with Brian, it was like, I can tell that he just wanted to talk to her, but it was like, he just wants to bag Andreina, and that was it. It wasn't like, let's get to know each other and vibe and really make this a thing. I don't think that's what that was. And I definitely feel like his connection with Amaya gave more of that than with Andreina. And then once they kissed and did all that, then he was just like, she's boring. Like, I don't really see it past physical attraction. I was like, I think we all saw that from a mile away. Andreina says that she wants to get to know Pepe. Pepe's so fine. And that's the thing. I was like, mind you, I gave Brian boring allegations. I'm like, Andreina was not boring to me. Andreina just seemed like a fun, gossipy, messy time, while also just being like, still like not like unlikable. It was, because I'm like, anytime she was talking with the girls, she was so fun. And just, I was just like, I love seeing her and her personality. Like, it never gave boring. So I don't know where he got that from, but she was feeling Pepe. She's like, I'm gonna go talk to him. She goes to talk to Pepe. Pepe was like, I'm sorry, girl. Didn't you know it was an all white party? I'm sorry. But no, for real, he was like, I'm gonna see what me and Grayson got going on over there. Andreina, sorry, I'm not seeing it for you, girl. And she was like, oh. And it's like, I got, like, people were so thrown off at her saying that she's not used to being turned down. But it's like, Can she not say that? I made a TikTok about it and I was just like, I feel like a lot of times people expect girls that are like objectively pretty to also have some type of humility and they want to humble them. There is nothing wrong with her saying she is not used to guys turning her down, because also I applauded her in the fact that she even shot her shot, because she could be like the type that's just like, oh, I'm expecting everybody to just come to me and flock to me. But no, she put herself out there, got rejected. Mind you, the rejection was not disrespectful. She was just like, oh, okay. Then she, in the privacy of the confessional, she said, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not used to being turned down. Nothing wrong with that. Like, that's just, who's shocked? But yeah, it was just sad. I feel like she's definitely gonna have better chances and a better time post the villa. Glad she's out of there. Please link up with my girls. Please link up with Shelly and Alandria. I'm begging you. Men are being very weird. Coco Bangs posted Alandria because she was in his music video or something a long ass time ago. And it was like, what the hell? Why are you posting this at this time? You didn't post this no time before. Whoever the hell Jay Critch is posted Andreina and I saw it. And I was like, what the heck? Who the hell is she with right now? Mind you, Andreina goes on Speedy's live on TikTok and says that picture was from like 2 years ago. Weird. It's so weird. It's like, why do guys like to brag on women that they've either been involved with in the past or simply there was nothing there? And it was just like, oh, this is just a moment for a photo, or I was hired to be the pretty girl in your music video. Please don't be posting me as if it's something. You just being cryptic. Like, I'm not going to say the context of why we worked together, but just know I was with one of the baddies from the village. It's just like, this is so, it just be so pathetic. And I just hate how they be moving. Let's get into Clark. Y'all, I completely didn't put Clark with the Casa people. Random notes. I just wanted to note everything down. Clark, I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, I was skeptical of Clark and I didn't want to give my opinion on her, not that I even had one, so soon, because Clark definitely gives me shy black girl and I could see that. But a lot of people are like, I don't know, she's being shady. She never looking up. She's always diverting her eyes. Like, she always got an attitude. This and that. I'm like, she's not giving me all of that. I don't know. It was like, she's not giving me that. And I don't know why people keep putting that on her. Just for Clark to be cool as shit. Like, just for Clark to be cool as hell post Villa, as we see the girls are super cool. I was like, see, this is what I knew. She's just a shy girl. She don't have great posture. She's always very like meek. Mind you, she was a cheerleader. So I don't know how she was a cheerleader with such a meek personality, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But Clark chose Taylor and Casa more, and it was between Coco and her when it came to Taylor. In the end, when they were doing the if you have a better connection with somebody for the Casa dumping, Taylor and Clark ended up together. Clark ended up being basically like, not the other woman, but as Alandria said, like, it's a test. She ended up being that test for Taylor to show, like, do you really like Alandria or do you not? Now we know damn well he did not. And we'll get into Taylor later. We know damn well he did not. Taylor ends up picking Clark at the official Casa Amor recoupling. Yeah, look, Clark was super cool. And I think that we just didn't get enough time to see her really interact with the girls because that's just always the energy post Casa Amor. So I think that's just all that was. But Clark was super cool. Honestly, truly, her connection with Taylor is a good one. They're cute together. It was just like, I don't want to see it in my villa. Now, I will say, after the dust has settled, we were talking in the post, Love Island chats. And I'm gonna see about uploading all of those post Love Island watch chats that we had on TikTok on this YouTube channel as a podcast, so you guys can listen to what we were talking about then. But I agree. I think if we're doing love, if we're voting based off love and we're talking about the finalists, I think that Taylor and Clark should have been included in that final 4 couples, but that's not what we got. Clark was gorgeous. People were talking about her hair, and I was just like, people don't know the difference between a sew-in and a wig these days. And I think that that's to do with like internet culture, where it's like people only interact with things on the internet and they don't actually interact with these things in real life. So people are like, her wig. And I just think that wigs, like lace front wigs, have become extremely popular these days, or like just in recent years. And sew-ins went out of style. Mind you, she didn't have a sew-in, she had tape-ins. And you can tell, I was like, that's leave out. That's leave out, and that's her forehead. People are like, her wig is too low. I'm like, it's not a wig. That's leave out. Mind you, tape-ins were eating for the fact that they were in humid ass Fiji in that heat. Like the hair was eating. It was just very full. And my sister's in cosmetology school. We were talking about that. And it was just like, my sister was like, maybe just like some different layers. You just have to style it with the hair that she has and how full it was. And she would wear it straight all the time. But I mean, they were in Fiji. And if you look at the TikTok with the person that actually did her hair before leaving, her hair looked gorgeous. It was flipped, it was curled. And even Clark was like, dang, I'm trying to put curls in. They falling before the day even end. I just think it was impossible for her to do her hair how she envisioned while she was in Fiji. Mind you, just stop talking about Black women's appearances, period. Clark, love you, girl. That's all I got. Let's get into the OGs on the villa. We're talking about OGs, the finalists, OGs that got voted off. It took me a long time to get through all the people that were voted off that I know y'all don't really give that much of a damn about, but we're here. Speaking of somebody we don't really give a damn about, Ulissa. Ulissa was the first to go home and it wasn't even a dumping. Ulissa went home for saying the N-word. Good riddance. But I do feel like her going home threw off the rest of the villa because she was coupled up with Ace to start. And Jeremiah was saying that he thinks that that is the reason why Ace has something against him on the villa. And I do think Ace was definitely a game player. He was very calculated in the way that he maneuvered the villa. And he never really just focused on his own couple. And I think that that's what made Ace's stock go down with everybody. I'm trying to say this stuff now because I feel like I'm gonna forget to talk about it later when I get into these people. But I feel like that's what made his stock go down with people viewing it and viewing him, was the fact that he was such a game player in the villa, but I just really think that's his personality. But it was like, this is not the show for that. So Jeremiah was saying that he feels like that's why Ace has something against him, was when he curved Huda on the very first coupling. And Jeremiah basically explained it as like he just wanted to be coupled up with Huda and didn't want to mess that up. And the only thing that he could think of was just to be like, kiss on the cheek. That in turn made Ulissa go to Ace, and I think at the time Ace was coupled up with Shelly, and since Ulissa went over to Ace, I think she picked Ace, so then Shelly went over to Austin. So as we see with being post Villa, Ace really liked Shelly, and even Jeremiah said that. He was like, Ace really liked Shelly, so I think he held that against me all this time. And I mean, rewatch the damn show. Ace immediately was like, he's a game player, he's scamming, he this and that. The allegations were flying about Jeremiah, but it's crazy. Now, I don't believe the scammer allegations with Shelly and Ace because it's like, one, you don't see who you're going to be on the villa with until you get to the damn villa. So how the hell they got a scheme set up? It just doesn't work out like that. It's just ironic that Ace can throw around a scammer. He's on here scamming this and that. Because it's like, I feel like with that word being put in the atmosphere, Ace kind of being the one to say it first too, literally stuck in people's minds like, oh, are people on the villa scamming with us as the viewers? Because it's like, nobody's throwing around these allegations. Like, everybody's just here to find love. Jeremiah, that wasn't his intention with doing that, but it's like, everybody's literally here to find love. But Ace is like throwing around all these allegations like, scammer, he's here scamming this and that. And it was just like, now we're trying to find a scammer. It's like, you put it out there, now everybody's looking for a scammer. So now the scammer allegations have went to you and Shelly, which is so unfortunate because I don't believe that that was true. I really think they like each other. As we can see, that's one of my favorite couples now. But anyway, Ulissa, one thing I just don't understand, I'm gonna wrap her segment up, is people keeping tabs with her post the villa. She wasn't even in episode 2, I don't think. They mentioned her name one time because she went home. And people are like keeping up with what she's saying after the villa, like, oh, she posted this apology. Oh, she's saying she don't give a damn about her saying the N-word. Who cares? Quite literally, who cares? Because it's like, unless you guys were trying to be fans of her, unless you guys wanted to stan her, why are you keeping up with what the hell Ulissa has going on post the villa? But I know what it is, and I'm gonna get into it more later on, but you guys just like to bully. You guys find a target, you have nothing better to do in your day, and you just want to nag, and think that you're holding somebody accountable for something when you're really freaking not. And it's just like, the best thing that you can do for people that don't deserve a platform is not platform them. Every time you talk about her, every time you repost something that she posted, you're platforming her. Don't even give her the damn time of day. And that's the end of that, because even me talking about this is giving her a platform that time's up. Let's get into Bella. This is a long one. Bella Dasha. that Nick was calling her crazy. And I'm like, Nick is so Gen Z. How the hell were a lot of them saying stuff that we were saying outside of the villa? That was pretty crazy. But anyway, Beldasha. She was coupled up with Nick to start. Nick said that he is, or she was, his type on paper to a T. Post Villa, he said that in an interview that I'm gonna get into later. He said that Bella was his type to a T, but to start, I'm not gonna lie, Nick gave me red flags because he was like, my last relationship didn't last because lack of physical attention or lack of attention, stuff like that. I was like, oh no, red flag. He said that. And then Bella just so happened to be the one that was very conserved and didn't kiss anybody, but she ended up letting her guard down with Nick to be more open to physicality, and she was sent home. And I'm not saying that that correlated one or the other, because Nick explained why he ended up sending her home versus Sierra. But Bella, the accent confused me.
I really do like Nick.
Yeah,
I do.
I feel y'all.
How about you? Are you feeling anybody else?
I forgot how bad it was, but there's a clip circulating with her and Sierra talking to each other about, so you like Nick? And they're like, yeah. It's like, okay, well, I like Nick too. Or we in a little competition, you know, catch him if you can. May the best girl win situation here. And they're like, yep, pretty much. Yeah, I forgot how crazy her accent got. I remember, I think I posted a clip about it, but she was talking to Charlie. Y'all, she picked up a British accent at one point. It was actually getting pretty out of hand. And people were saying that she like mimics people that she's talking to. And that was so apparent watching on my screen. But I feel like with Bella, I think it was just the atmosphere or the culture of Love Island that was not going to be sustainable for her romance style. And maybe she could have went on a different show. And I did appreciate that she stuck to her, you know, stuck to it. It was like, hey, I'm not going to kiss. I'm not going to do any of that stuff because that's not me. But I think that with the challenges, mostly the challenges and just the nature of Love Island, you have to be kissing and being physical. Like every single challenge that they have is like physicality. And I just don't think that that would have been like sustainable for her to do the whole way. And I definitely think Nick is a very physical person. He said it out his mouth. Sierra was more physical with him. And I'm not saying she was using her physicality to get Nick. I don't really like that narrative, and maybe that's what she was doing later on, but I just think that she's grown and she could do what she wants. That's how I felt about the Sierra and Nick thing. But Bella came and Bella went. Then she was the first person to officially be voted off, and people were like, oh, bring her back. Y'all, that I didn't understand. I really didn't. I didn't understand why people wanted Bella back on the villa. And I was explaining it in the live stream. I felt like it was one of those things where I made a comparison to when like Eternals came out or anything, where it's like people feel like anything you watch, you have to find somebody to stan or be attracted to. And that's where we were seeing like people post about how cute that one guy was that was dating Sabrina Carpenter. Y'all don't even know his damn name. But it was just like, y'all, you know, you don't have to like find somebody to stan or find somebody to be attracted to. You can just consume the media and that's it. And I feel like that's kind of the thing with Bella, where it was like, I would really like y'all to explain what exactly, like, of course she can have fans. I'm not saying she don't deserve like fans and support, whatever. She ain't do nothing wrong. But it was just like people saying she need to come back. I was like, she wasn't good TV. So I don't even know why I need her to come back. I'm glad with the results that we got. Alandria Hive stand up, but it was just like y'all dragging it. Y'all are completely dragging it. Let's get into Jeremiah. I think after Charlie, Jeremiah was the second boy to be officially voted off. Shocking. Now that was one of the most shocking nights of the villa. I think that was when the last podcast that I made when Jeremiah went home. We didn't really get much of Jeremiah to start. Jeremiah was with Huda in the beginning. I talked a lot about my thoughts on Jeremiah and Huda in the podcast, so I'm gonna quickly touch on it here because I have been recording for 56 minutes. Jeremiah didn't really give us much to start. And it was funny because Nick was saying that he knew Jeremiah, or he met him. He didn't know him. He met him when he was like doing some catering job, and he was like, wow, cool guy. And they ended up being in the villa together. But Nick was saying he had a great personality. He was so funny. And I feel like we see a lot of that now post villa, where it's like, wait, Jeremiah is actually like pretty funny and a cool guy. Like he has a lot of interests and stuff that we just never got into in the villa. Weird. But in the villa, Jeremiah was with Huda, and I can say Jeremiah was also toxic in that coupling, But in the end, objectively, like, this isn't even like up for debate. Of course, it's Love Island, of course, it's gonna be up for debate. But in the end, that was Huda. Huda was the toxicity, for real, for real. I think that Jeremiah went into it thinking that it was going to be something, and like he said in his podcast post Villa, he just didn't set any boundaries in the beginning. Huda was expecting the moon and he didn't slow it down, and so he was giving her the moon. He was saying that he was telling her, like, you know, in a relationship, I do this, I do that, I, you know, just do all these girlfriend boyfriend things. And so Huda was immediately expecting girlfriend boyfriend. But Jeremiah started, not physically, what's the word I'm looking for? His actions were showing that he was like regressing in all those things of the expectations that he set for his relationship with Huda. And I think that with somebody like Huda, that's recipe for disaster. It's just a recipe for disaster, because she is going to expect all of those things from anybody that she's in a couple with, whether they are in a relationship with her or it's just, you know, a simple coupling on Love Island where it's not official. Jeremiah wasn't putting in efforts with Huda. She didn't like that. The uncooked pancakes, I guess he ended up explaining that later, like he was getting his haircut. I really want to know who was cutting hair. I think it was Taylor, but he explained it later saying he was getting a haircut, so he didn't have time to like make the breakfast, this and that, no protein. He said they talked about that. Taylor went and helped Huda with the pancakes later. She made a whole big deal about that. He was pissed off. But here's the thing. I was like, I can tell that Jeremiah was very introverted on the villa. And I, unfortunately, was relating with him so much during that time that he was there, because I was just like, I get it. With Huda, it was a moment where Nick, as he usually does, was just being open and honest about the fact that it's toxic. Him and Huda are toxic. Do you think that she's gonna let you like just be out with your friends, or she gonna be blowing your phone up with you out with your friends and this and that? And it wasn't Nick that said that. I forgot who it was that said that. I think it was Pepe. But Jeremiah was just like, nah, forget it, guys, it's all right. And I thought that he was gonna pick Huda in the next recoupling. He didn't. He picked Iris. But that was just very jarring for him to hear. And I could be getting some moments mixed up, because there was a lot of times that they tried to have like sit down talks with him. But I feel like that was just jarring for him to hear. So he takes the time to sit at the edge of the couch and just be to himself. And I was like, and then Huda comes over, and immediately I was like, oh gosh, she's not gonna like this. And I feel like in any situation, if you're in a friendship, relationship, or anything with somebody and they don't just allow you time and peace, red flag. Because she comes over and immediately I was like, oh, she's about to be like, why is Jeremiah mad at me, instead of why is Jeremiah upset? 0.5 seconds later, that is exactly what she said. And I was like, I knew it. Because it threw me off too, with the narrator saying like he was acting like a baby, when really I just think he became recluse. Because I was like, this is exactly how I am, and maybe I need to work on that. But it's like, bro, you just need time. And I feel like in a situation like Love Island, you just don't get like time to sit and goddamn think. Really, they all say that post Villa. But before Huda even came over there, he completely separated himself from the group. And I think that they don't allow you to just be by yourself, so you gotta sit in circle. Sat, and Austin was like, hey, you okay? And he was like, I'm good. Don't feel like talking about it right now. Okay. He tried to reach out to him. Jeremiah said the same thing. Huda comes over and it's like, you're not hugging me like you would. Why aren't you talking? Why are you mad at me? And it was like, bruh, he's just not, it's just not the time for that right now. And I was like, I totally get it. Like sometimes it's like when I'm just in a funk, I'm not about to just snap out of a funk, or if I'm mad or something and just be like, oh, lovey-dovey, get like, no, that's not happening. So I feel like that was one of those moments. And I was just like, oh, this is very toxic. And then we get the moment with the complete crash out blow up with Huda cussing him out. He's a PAB. Kept calling him brother. I'm not gonna lie. People are like, oh, you guys turn everything into race. Oh, trust me, we're gonna get into race in the second half of this video. She continuously kept calling Jeremiah and Chris brother. That was a little weird to me, because I'm like, people are like, it's not that serious. Like, she's just saying that in a playful way. Try to call a black person boy and see what reaction you get. Oh, not the light. No. This is how we'll be spending the rest of the video. It's okay. The lighting isn't that bad anyway. Call a black person boy and see what reaction you get. I feel like it was the same connotation where it's like, of course, this is not a freaking slur that she's saying. It's the context and it's the tone of when she would say that. Because it's like, people are like, she's being fun, she's being playful. No, she would be condescending every time. Anyway, they recouple. America chooses Iris to be with Jeremiah. Huda crashes the hell out. They got to stand up and vote for who they going home, who they want to go home. All the guys vote for Huda damn near. She's pissed off. Jeremiah completely becomes recluse. Sits in a speakeasy by himself. And this is the first time I think that we really saw Huda for who she was, because we see this again in the finale later on in the season. It's just someone called her a D1 vibe killer. Yes. Jeremiah completely does not talk. Immediately I was like, he got a break. He immediately has a break, and he doesn't have to talk to Huda anymore because they're not in a couple, so there's no point of trying to make it work. I think anybody with eyes could see that that was the case. Could he have talked to her? Yes. Did he? No. Like, God forbid. That's how I felt. I was like, I would not even be apologizing for the fact that I didn't talk to her, because it was like, bruh, everybody in that villa was like, we are drained from this Jeremiah Huda situation. Don't even bring her name up when you around me, Jeremiah, and Huda, don't bring up Jeremiah when you like, vice versa. We don't want to freaking hear it. He doesn't talk to her, and they go on a date. She's saying she's not bothered. Mind you, she's sitting with her glasses on, chest moving up and down. It was like, you're very much bothered. And I was like, girl, I'm bothered as you going in that kitchen, making breakfast, making lunch or something, to be like, whatever, I don't care. No, she sat in the middle of the room with everybody. Mind you, she had on a big shirt, shoes, this and that. Took that off, got prepared and presentable to sit in the middle of the villa, to be seen, to be unbothered. It was like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. But Jeremiah doesn't talk to her. He was like, oh, she's cooked. I'm never talking to her again. She was calling me a bitch and shit last night. Like, it's a wrap. Yeah. I don't even know what more to say about that. Andreina comes into the villa. They start making a connection. Huda does that cringy clap thing. And it was just like, people are like, she can't be supportive. She's being supportive. No. No. Because it's not. It was like, she was the only one clapping. Everybody was looking. The guys got no problem sitting over there looking jealous and hating. And she's clapping out loud. And it was just like, it was just cringe. Because everybody was like, ooh, okay. Like, that's fine. Clap. It was just like, oh my God, it's so weird. But Jeremiah's ending was him finding a connection with Andreina. The guys saw him as competition. They can't deny it. They cannot deny this. And they sent him packing. Now, Nick said that hopefully they played the deliberation of that conversation at the reunion. I hope they do, and I hope we get a 2-part reunion, because Nick was like, there were just things that were said and was never shown. There was a reason why we sent him home. And I just don't know why nobody's just explaining why they sent Jeremiah home. But, you know, the proof will be in the pudding when we get the footage. He said if they don't show the footage, he just gonna crash out. It's gonna be a Nick crash out moment. But I feel like we just didn't get to see a lot of Jeremiah on the villa. As he was being with Andreina more, we saw him open up. And I was like, wait, Jeremiah is actually kind of funny. Wait, Jeremiah is kind of nerdy. Oh, he actually has interest. Who would have known this? Because in the end with him and Huda, he was talking about the fact that, you know, let's start over. Let's be friends. And I was saying that every week, damn near, or every day that we would get a damn episode. Like, we don't know anything about them anymore. Do they talk about their interests? We don't ever just see them talking. It's always complaints. The pancakes are not cooked. Mind you, I was like, okay, the thing about the pancakes, I was like, Huda does this a lot where it's like she says the bad things out loud and doesn't realize that you're saying the bad things out loud, where it's like, you're not doing this. No protein and my pancake is uncooked. Actions speak louder than words. You want him to do this. You want him to do that. If he's not doing it, there is your answer. He does not like you in a way that you want him to, and he cannot give you what you need. So he then is not for you. But she just kept trying to force it. Oh, Shelly's doing this and Ace is doing that for Shelly, and we'll get into that. It's just not going to happen. These are not the people that are going to give you those things. But anyway, Jeremiah found a connection with Andreina, got sent home. You could tell he was about to crash out. He said he wanted to crash out. He was pissed off, had a moment in his hotel room after he got voted off, but then was calm. And that was the end of Jeremiah's journey. Let's get into Austin really quick. Austin, Trump supporter. Y'all need to stand up. I just don't understand why Austin is getting so much love post-Villa. I haven't blocked him only because I don't see him down my timeline much. But y'all gotta stand up. Austin post-Villa talk about he can't be racist because he has a black woman tattooed on his side. Who is that one? That looked like a cast member from Spring Breakers.
Like, honestly, are you dumb? Like, do you not think? I have a black woman tatted on my side. Use your head.
who is this black woman you are talking about tattooed on your side, sir? We're not believing it. Also, that just gives like, I have black friends, I can't be Austin overstayed his welcome in that villa, and I was so glad when he went home. He was draining my girl Shelly. I just think Shelly liked being in a love triangle, to be honest. And Austin was not the one to be in a love triangle with. I really don't know what she was saying to him. I'll be honest. His voice, I was so glad we didn't get to hear that anymore. Yeah, freaked out, super freaked out. And everybody that left the villa that had something to say about Austin confirmed, like, he just was a little too freaked out. And it was on a creepy level. He sent over 1,000 nudes. He has sent over 1,000 nudes. Is crazy, especially now you're on one of the most popular shows of the year. Yeah, I would be terrified if I was him. Not saying that it would be okay to do something like that, but like, oh my God, I would actually be having an anxiety attack every day knowing that information. Yeah, like I said, y'all need to stand up. Commenting on his video saying you need to vote blue next one and he liked it. Didn't even comment it. And you guys going in other people's comment sections to say, when people are posting about Austin, either talking about him in a negative way and just shedding light on the fact that his politic is a little shaky. Mind you, I saw his repost with my own eyes. I wish I would have screenshot it or something. When people were talking about that, I saw those reposts with my own. It was nonstop. It was nonstop. Red pill, misogyny, bad. And people are talking about bringing that comment that someone commented on Instagram to TikTok to say, guys, someone asked him to vote blue in the next election and he liked the comment. As if this is supposed to give us some slack. As if we didn't learn from the last election when people were saying that they were voting a certain way. And then once the vote was over, they were like, oh, actually, I didn't do that. I just said I did that, but that's not really what I did. Stand up. Everybody stand up. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about Austin. Let's get into Taylor. Man, oh man, oh man. Taylor, I never seen it for him. Never did I ever see it for him from start to finish. No, okay, that would be a lie if I said that. In the beginning, when him and Alandria got together, I seen it. I was like, oh my God, they're so cute. They're joking. They're both from the South. I could see it. Then our first challenge, the blindfold challenge where they had to kiss people, and Alandria said that she kissed Ace. It was a wrap. After that, I was just like, Taylor is being a little weird with her. Their vibe is not the same. And lo and behold, we get the rest of the show that we got. I genuinely think that was the turning point for him. I think that Taylor had to learn to like Alandria. And then when she confessed that she kissed Ace in that challenge, he was completely turned off by her. Now we see that they are Ace's little minions. We see that Taylor does not speak his mind ever. So of course he was never going to say that he was actually bothered by that. In fact, it wasn't even that he was omitting the truth. He was genuinely saying that he was not bothered by the fact that she kissed Ace when really that was, he was bothered. And I kept saying that over and over and over, and I'm just like, please, he was bothered that she kissed Ace, and he's saying that he's not. Then we get to the recoupling with Charlie and Sierra, and he stands up. And I think that was one of the first official Taylor memes that we got. He stands up. Alandria's pissed off. Huda is saying, y'all deserve real men. It was a crazy night. And Alandria was mad. And she expressed to him that she was upset about that, because that's when you do when you're upset about something, is express that you are upset about something. And he was like, I don't understand why you're mad that I stood up for Sierra because I wasn't mad that you kissed Ace. Sir, that's a lie, because you were not feeling the fact that she kissed Ace. You were just saying that you weren't. That, from that point, from that moment is when I stopped liking Taylor, because I was like, oh, he's fraudulent. And just that whole time, he was leading her on, leading her on, leading her on. Like, yes, Taylor is funny. Yes, Taylor is goofy. He just gives little brother vibes. And over time, I just did not see it for him and Alandria. And I really did not appreciate the fact that he was leading her on. When he was voted last in those favorite challenge that we had to vote for, he was like, oh, I know what this is for. It's the Alandria situation. It's like, yes and no. We just see you for who you are, and you are fraudulent. You did not move with integrity and honesty in the villa, like, at all. And then, yes, you played my girl in the process of that. But it's just like, we just see your character, and that's not anybody that I would want to align with and be my favorite. No. Then Jaylen comes in the villa. Now, all of a sudden, Taylor has all this love and affection for Alandria, is feeling some type of way about them going on dates, when really, with hindsight, he was just more upset that his spot on the villa was going to be a little shaky. like it's just so irritating to think about. But like if we didn't get those moments, we would not get the ending results that we got. But then what really threw me off with Taylor, what really threw me with Taylor, and it was just like this whole male challenge situation. When the heck did Taylor become y'all favorites when just the other episode he was voted last every time as not genuine, here to play games, whatever the hell, last. But now that he's standing up on this podium and embarrassing Alandria, now everybody wants to be like, oh yeah, he did his big one, he ate. No, you guys just like seeing Alandria disrespected. And I was saying in the stream, I was putting my tinfoil hat on. I was saying that was just rude and cruel. And that really showed us who Taylor really was. Because it was like, yes, you chose Clark. We know it's Clark. You're choosing Clark. We know. But Alandria wasn't getting it. Now, it was frustrating to watch. Alandria is my girl. Voted Alandria every single time. And when I say every single time, I mean every single time I voted Alandria. But she wasn't getting it. It wasn't getting through her head. She was really fighting for this connection because I think it was more about the fact that she put so much stock in, she put so much into it and was expecting some type of return. She was not getting it. And so I feel like Nick said, like, one of the qualities that he likes about her is her loyalty. That is a double-edged sword. Every time he says that, I'm like, don't expect too much loyalty. You can't expect loyalty from my girl, but don't abuse that. Don't abuse that quality out of her, Nick. Like, I'm watching you. But that's the thing. She's very loyal because she puts a lot in and she expects a lot out that she was just not getting from Taylor. When she comes back from Casa Amor and in the challenge, Taylor and Clark are kissing and she's like, I did that. I'm the reason why he's open and doing this. It's like, no, Alandria, he just likes Taylor. He did not like you. And you were the only person that could not see that. Even the Villa girls were like, I'm shocked. I'm thrown off as to why he just all of a sudden doesn't like Alandria, because you were playing the game, sir. You were playing the game and make it seem like you did, and you did not. I feel like that final moment at the male challenge was this, what was it? Male challenge, stand on business, whatever, was when it was like, okay, Alandria finally sees, and she had to have this extremely embarrassing moment. Oh my God. Like, it was literally like, for like 5 episodes straight, it was literally Alandria humiliation ritual. And I hated every single second of it. Just for her to go home, I was like, this can't be the end to her story. They need to send in her man. Mind you, they never sent in anybody else, I think, after all of that. I don't think we ever got any new bombshells post Casa Amor, which is strange because I feel like we should have got some to at least give like Huda and Chris the option to pick anybody else or just anybody else just to see if the connections were actually strong, because we always get bombshells at the end. But anyway, Taylor, in that moment, everybody's like, he ate. No, that was just cruel. Like, bottom line, that whole thing was just cruel because you were saying that you're just mad because she was talking at you crazy. Mind you, Alandria didn't say anything crazy. Yeah, she called you a bitch. Who gives a like, who cares? Yeah, she said all that, but it was like, it was the accumulation of everything. She was actually giving you grace in this whole journey. Mind you, I was like, also when she had told Huda, like, let's talk about this later. I was like, Alandria definitely has a fiery side, but she knows it's like, I'm not about to do that. I'm gonna be calm. But yeah, she also does have a slick mouth, which I actually love about her. When she told Zach, save it, I was like, period, girl. But I think that she also has a fiery side that she just suppresses. It's good and bad because it's like, yes, everybody does not deserve that energy, but at the same time, sometimes, yes, they do. And that's exactly what you got, Taylor. You were just mad that she was coming at you, clarking your tea. And then you're like, oh, so you want me to say it, standing up at that podium in front of everybody. Because it's like, mind you, we have had so many private conversations. You're saying you're about to be playing ping pong with Alandria and Clark. What? Like, Alandria, please. It was like, please stand up. Ain't no way he's about to say that to you and it's just okay. He talking about maybe you're just not like.
Maybe you're just not like.
Maybe. Maybe.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Like, Taylor was getting on my nerves. Him saying that Clark stink. It was just like, what are his flirting tactics? Like, -5 Riz. It was just like, I don't understand how this is working on anybody. Like, what is it about Taylor that it just really got these girls going crazy like this? Like, I need to know. Anyway, he stands up at that podium and is like, okay, you want me to say it? You want me to say it? Like, it's really a suspenseful moment. I pick Clark. Y'all talking about he ate? He did not eat. That was just cruel. And I put on my tinfoil hat to say, because most of the people that were saying he ate were Huda fans, of course, because y'all just wanted to see Alandria in a humiliating moment, clarking your tea. It was like, imagine somebody that you really are holding up on a pedestal, putting all this stock in and hoping to get some type of love, validation, appreciation in return, decides to stand up in front of everybody and humiliate you. Basically saying, I don't like you, I don't want you, all of that. And what I put into perspective is like the parasocial relationship that people have with Huda. And of course, I'm gonna get into that later. But it was like, imagine Huda stood up on that podium in front of all her fans, all her stans, all you deranged Huda HQ stans. Stood up there, y'all put all this stock into her, voted for her to the top. She stands on that podium and it's like, y'all are doing too much. I don't like anything that you guys have been doing. I don't even like y'all. Imagine. Tinfoil hat, but it was just like, that's the same energy as it gave, where it's like she put in so much for this person, for him to stand up in front of everybody and say that was just humiliating. So I didn't see it for Clark. I mean, didn't see it for Taylor, saw it for Clark, love her. But Taylor, you gonna have to grow on me. You and Clark could be cute outside the villa, but it was a great day when he went home. Let's get into Sierra. I'm gonna make this quick. I liked Sierra in the beginning, I did. I really wanted her and Shelly and Alandria to be like a trio, not on no PPG stuff, literally, but they had a great connection. I was like, oh, they seem like they're really good girls and really good friends. Then you continue to watch Sierra and you realize that she has nothing more to offer. Everything that she says is very ABC 1, 2, 3. There's a teleprompter in front of me and I'm saying exactly what everybody wants to hear that I'm talking to, and which makes my perspectives also change with whoever I'm talking to. And it was like, you could see that over time. You definitely could. And I think that that's what Nick appreciated in Alandria, is that Nick is so messy. Nicky Poo. Nick is messy and Nick is also honest. That's what Alandria said one of her favorite qualities are about him, is that he's honest. Because for real, it's like, why we gotta sugarcoat stuff? When we have a conversation, why is everything just like so PC, you know? And it's like, I mean, sure, keep it that way. That's ironic of me to say, because the reason why she got sent home. But it's like, when you're just hanging with your people, it's like, you could talk a little bit of mess. I'm not saying be completely just like discriminatory, or not, don't be discriminatory or anything, but it's like, you can talk a little mess. You could be a little messy. How'd you feel about when Taylor and Clark went home? I felt great. Like stuff like that. And it's just like, Sierra just never got messy. I just felt like she was never honest. And it was just like, you could start to see that over time. A lot of people were talking about the fact that she had like influencer friends. She thought that she was going into the villa and was going to come out one way. That didn't happen, as we could see. But I think that it was very obvious that she was too hyper aware of the cameras being on her. Maybe that's just how she is in real life. Honestly, like people are saying like, oh, she's hyper aware of the cameras. But I think that she's just hyper aware of perception in general. And that's why she's like that. She went home for saying an Asian slur. That was actually insane. That was actually insane. Like, I thought that they weren't going to do it because Sierra was so integral to so many parts of the villa, and I thought that they were just going to let the show play out. Mind you, I'm glad she got sent home because it's the way things have panned out. I mean, kudos to them, because I was like, I mean, if they sent Ulissa home, yeah, you gotta go, girl. You gotta go. You got to go. Obviously, can't speak too much about that, but I mean, shout out to production for sending her home for that. But production was just doing a little bit too much this season, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna get into that in my final thoughts. But let's get into Ace. So Ace believes that he is 5'10", and honestly, post Villa, I will say, I think he actually is 5'10". He just looks completely different. I think that it just made him look really small in comparison to all the other guys that were on the villa that were like 6 foot plus, you know? So it's like, in comparison, he looks way shorter, because 5'10" is tall, but it's like not that. I'm like 5'7", so it's probably like here to me. It's tall, but it's like, of course, 6 feet plus is like extremely tall. Like, that's a huge person. Anyway, I didn't like Ace. I didn't. And the moment that I didn't like Ace was when he picked Amaya. When he picked Amaya, I did not like Ace after that, because I was just like, I'm so confused. What is his motives with doing this? And then how he did Amaya, it was a wrap for him. So I feel like for me, that's what made it hard for me to root for Shelly and Ace, was because of Ace. Just like how it is with Taylor and Clark, it was like, Clark, I love you, girl. Love you down. Love you to pieces. But I can't root for your man. can't do it. Like Ace was cool, and I said this in the podcast. It was just like when I have to judge the guys based on how they're doing the girls, it's hard. It's very hard because when I have to judge them based on their dating habits, I can't in my right mind say, yes, I'm gonna vote for you. I can't do it. But outside of that, great personality, very entertaining, was actually the beacon of light in the villa, contrary to Alandria saying that about Hannah. But that was Ace. Because when he went home, like, who was the entertainment? Like, not even Nick could make up for the entertainment. Like, Ace was just such a leader. But no, he was just like such a huge personality that like others around him that also have great personalities kind of feed off of that, if that makes sense. But he grew on me, and so did him and Shelly. Now, in that male challenge, it definitely made her stock go down. I can't lie. And I'm saying this as a person who has been a fan of Shelly. But of course, we always talk about this in the streams and everything. Nuance is just one of those things that are completely missing from the conversations that we have about the people on the villa. Shelly and Ace had a moment of disagreement. I feel like Shelly was right in her perspective or in her feelings about the Huda situation with the heart rate challenge, but she was not right in her thoughts about Ace in this situation because she didn't have any smoke for Ace to start. She was mad at Huda for doing too much in the heart rate challenge, but then when Ace expressed that he felt some type of way about her kissing Chris and doubling back on Chris, I didn't talk about Chris. I'm like, where? I didn't talk about him in the Casa Boys. Ace was talking about her doubling back on Chris in the challenge. He was right. If you actually have a connection with Chris, why are you doubling back on him in a challenge? Just like Andreina was starting to feel some type of way about Pepe, a lot of times people use the challenges to show how they really feel about somebody. Andreina chose that as a moment to be like, I like Pepe, I'm gonna kiss you. Boom, I want you. Shelly, you kissing Chris is no problem in a heart rate challenge, whatever, you want everybody. But doubling back on him is sending a message that you want him. And I just feel like Shelly was just used to having her cake and eating it too in the real world outside of the villa. And that's the mindset that she just couldn't get out of in the villa. And it made her and Ace have this rift. I didn't have any issue with her explanation with saying like, Ace, you were open and exploring, open and exploring, open and exploring. Now it's my time to be open and exploring. And now you have a problem with that. I didn't mind that she was cashing in on that. It was just the timing where it's like, okay, we are now post Casa More. You and Ace have already chosen each other. It's really not the time to be exploring anymore. And I just feel like this was just how she dates in real life. And she is not letting up on her like tendencies. They got through it. Love to see it. But then Ace and Shelly got sent home. And I was so upset about that because I really felt like Ace and Shelly deserved to be in that finale. Like I said, after some time, I'm sitting in hindsight, that finale should have been Taylor and Clark, Ace and Shelly, Nick and Alandria, Brian and Amaya. Like, say what you want, but Taylor and Clark have a good connection. And if we're talking about love and who should be in the final couples, it should have been those 4 couples. Now, of course, I want to talk about everything that has been going on with Shelly and Huda and Alandria. But before I get into all of that, let's just get into the final 2 couples. Let's get into Iris and Pepe. They did not deserve to be in the finale. Mind you, as I'm recording this on July 16th, Iris has already linked up with TJ. Like, messy. That's messy. And a lot of people are saying TJ called TMZ on himself, and I can agree. I'm gonna agree with those allegations. This is all alleged, but why would TMZ be following you to link up with Iris? Like, I don't think any of us would have ever seen that, known that, unless you posting about it. Then Hannah want to be messy, posting somebody's dash and listening to some music. Pepe's hat is on the dashboard. I'm like, I just knew it. I was like, Hannah gonna go get her man, because that's why I love Hannah. I love Hannah for that reason. She don't play. If she wants something, she gonna go get it. So she linked up with Pepe, of course. I knew that. She linked up with Charlie. And I'm like, she gonna link up with Charlie. But when Pepe get out that villa, she gonna go see about Pepe. And she did. I mean, Iris went to go see about TJ too. I was just like, these are not solid couples that we have here in this finale. They are taking up someone's spot. And it was Ace and Shelly's. Who else? If I said that Taylor and Clark should have been in the finale Taylor and Clark, who was in the, Chris and Huda. I'm like, wait, if I said Taylor and Clark and Shelly and Ace, I didn't took somebody else out. Chris and Huda. Are y'all happy? No, Huda fans really, like, are you guys happy with the decision that you made in voting her to be in that finale? You guys quite literally voted for Huda to be in that finale to prove a point. What was the point? For her to be humiliated on public TV? To completely plummet the stock that she worked so hard to build in her redemption arc, to completely just plummet it. Because if we thought it was bad with Jeremiah, it got worse. A lot of people are saying that the situation wasn't that serious. I remember when we were streaming the finale, mind you, we had like 13K, almost 20K people in the stream when we were watching that finale, and it was just a whole bunch of fan bases all at once. People were saying Chris is a red flag, Chris is a meanie, he's horrible. Ooh, enemy territory. Enemy territory. Chris explained in a recent podcast what was going on with the whole in the bed situation. In that finale, mind you, they were all having a pillow fight celebrating the fact that they were in the finale. All having a pillow fight. If you don't want to get hit, get the hell out the pillow fight. He throws a pillow, it hits her nose. Yes, okay, you guys, she has a nose job. Oh my gosh, yes, we know she has a nose job. I'm sure it freaking hurt. Getting hit in the nose, period, hurts like hell. Like, that's like one of the worst, like immediately your eyes start, it's one of the worst places to get hit, along with getting the wind knocked out of your stomach. So, and this is so funny because I always talk about that, like in your adulthood, you should not be getting the wind knocked out your stomach unless you are in sports. If you getting the wind knocked out your stomach, you are doing entirely too much. Same with getting hit in the nose, you doing too much. Mind you, they were pillow fighting. So yes, they were being childish and doing too much, and that's why she got hit in the nose. Not that's why, but it's like in your adulthood, there's just no reason for you to, one, be getting hit in the nose, and two, getting the wind knocked out your stomach. They was playing too damn much. And Huda got hit in the nose. Y'all, I can't stand attention seeking. I can't. And I knew it. When I was talking about it with my sisters, I knew that was going to be the part that we were like, oh, hell nah. And it was. Girl. Now, yes, you getting hit in the nose is like, whoa, like everybody stop. She got hit in the nose. But to stop everything and be like, whoa, you just hit me in the nose, to walk out, he rolled his eyes, because it's just like, it's like if this was a one-time thing, I think there would have been a sense of urgency for sure. But being in the villa with Huda, knowing how she is with stuff, knowing how everything is just like victimizing herself, making things so much more than it is, attention seeking, yes, you would roll your eyes too, because this is a pattern of behavior. She goes in the bathroom to put bandages on her nose. And it wasn't just like, oh, I got hit in the nose, I'm gonna just put bandages on my nose and I'm gonna lay down and that's it. Like, freak, it really hurt, I'm gonna put a band-aid on my nose. Like, this is just what it is. No. You put bandages on your nose and you come out of the bathroom, get in the bed, shake him and say, look what I have to put on my nose because you hit me in the nose. Y'all, I can't. This is literally like toddler behavior. Like, I literally have nieces and nephews that act like this. And it's like, I can excuse it because these are kids. Like, kids have to learn these kind of things. And like, it's cute when they do it. You have to give kids all the attention in the world so that they have the self-confidence and so that they're just full of all those things when they are adults. You can just tell that maybe she was deprived of these things in her adolescence, and so she needs it so much in her adulthood. And that's literally what it gives, because it's like, girl, this is like when kids get scratched or they fall and it's like, oh my God. Or when they fall and it's like the tiniest scar and it's like, oh my gosh, I got this scar on my arm. Oh, it hurts so bad. And it's like, oh no, oh my God. Like, y'all know what I mean? She just reminds me of a child a lot. A lot of people are saying that this is not that big of a deal. It is that big of a deal. And I need y'all to really just put our thinking caps on let's turn our brains on right now. This is just unforgivable behavior. Really, really. They're going to sleep. Chris explains in a podcast that like they were filming all day. It's the finale. Every night they get about 2 to 5 hours of sleep because they film all day. Even Jeremiah said this, and this is no correlation to the fact that it's Jeremiah and Chris, but all of them say that they don't get sleep. Any Islander that's post Villa says they don't get no freaking sleep. And he said that they were having a conversation about that prior. In the part that they showed, mind you, people are talking about she gets a bad edit, she gets a bad edit. I don't know how you can edit this bad. She shakes him awake. Mind you, people were comparing that to when she like woke up Taylor that time when Jeremiah and Iris went on that date. It's the same energy. She shakes him awake in the middle of the night. Mind you, they ain't getting no damn sleep. Chris was saying he don't play it by his sleep. I was like, I get it. I get sleepy at like 9 o'clock p.m. Don't wake me up. When I get sleepy, it's bedtime. I'm not fighting it. I literally hate that feeling of being tired. But she says that basically you need to cuddle me. And he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to get some sleep. And she's like, are you serious? I'm going to count down to 3. And basically, by the time I count down, you need to be cuddling me. And really starts going 3, 2, 1. Now, y'all cracked me up in the in the chat saying it was giving 1, 2, 3 eyes on me. Because no, seriously, who are you talking to as if I'm a child? 3, 2, 1, I'm going to count down and you need... I really, 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 really need y'all to flip the roles on this. And I hate doing this, but I feel like sometimes y'all don't understand the severity of the things that she does. If this was Chris saying, Huda, you need to cuddle me tonight, and Huda was like, I'm tired, I need to get some sleep. Like, no, that's it. No is final. No means no, final answer. No, I don't need to explain why it's a no, this and that. Chris just wanted to go to sleep. That's it. No. If Chris was like, if you don't cuddle me by the end of the time that I count to 3, we're going to have problems tomorrow. And she was still like, no. And he was like, okay, well, this is the battle this is the fight that you're choosing to have. And since you said no to me, I'm going to have an attitude tomorrow. Mind you, this was what Huda said. Y'all, that actually blew me. Like, that legitimately blew me. That was like one of her worst moments. I cannot lie to you. Yes, that was coercion. Yes, that was coercion. Yes, why is that not, why do people not see that? That was actually insane to see. And like I said, I don't want to see Huda in any more reality this. I don't want to see her dating life. I don't want to see her interpersonal relationships. She really has stuff that she needs to work on. Not only that, and look, this is all alleged, but just watching her triggered me very bad. It did. There was the moment where Jeremiah talked to her and was like, we should just be friends. Let's start over, this and that. She picks up a pillow. And I was like, bruh, she about to hit him with that pillow? Mind you, nobody in this villa has raised their hands at anybody to say, I'm gonna smack you, I'm gonna fight, we finna fight, none of that. So seeing that, I was like, oh my God, she's about to like hit him with this pillow. She picks it up and she throws it past him. Red flag. Red flag. If y'all know anything about domestic situations, if they throwing stuff around you, hitting stuff around you, that is gonna come back to you. And I'm not putting this on her. I'm not saying that that's the case, but this is why watching her was triggering to me, because I was like, oh girl, oh no. Him saying that you guys should just be friends should not garner this reaction, which is why I was confused as to why people were saying that Andreina was doing too much, about her saying that she's not used to being rejected, when she did not react in any fashion like that the way Huda did. But what I feel like with Huda fans is that I didn't agree with it at first, with people's point of view saying that people identify with Huda and so they want to platform her because they see the toxicity in her and they see themselves. I was kind of like, no, I don't know. I just think that people want proximity to Huda. People are aligning with Huda because she's a baddie and people want proximity to her. And mind you, anybody with eyes can see that at the point where Huda was starting to become very toxic with Jeremiah and it was a hate campaign on her, which mind you, her behavior was so out of line. So it was like everybody just has commentary on what's happening that was rightfully wrong. That's when she started to get a fan base, because a lot of people were saying that they just like being on the side of people that get a rise out of people. And I feel like that's really what it is. I feel like it's just people with no lives that don't have anything better to do, and they attach themselves to people that can. Because you in your own life, cannot get this reaction out of people because nobody cares. Nobody cares. So you have to use Huda as a catalyst to get reactions out of people that you otherwise would not, because nobody cares about what you have to say in real life. So you have to use Huda, who has a platform, who is objectively doing very negative, toxic things, to get reactions out of people, because nobody cares about what you are doing in your personal life. So I feel like with a lot of people, the fact that they were so quick to latch on to the bullying, harassing Andreina post Villa, harassing Chris post Villa, you guys are bored. You guys are losers with nothing else to do. And I feel like they see themselves in Huda, but more so it's like a desirable woman who's on Love Island is exhibiting toxic behaviors. So not only do I see myself in Huda, but I'm putting myself in her shoes and kind of equating that to toxicity is desirability. Toxicity is desirability. So I'm toxic, therefore I'm also desirable. Walk with me. Because a lot of people were like, a lot of her fans are like, only baddies love Huda, only baddies love Huda. And it's like, is that all that it is? Is that as far as we can take it? Like, because it's like, now every girl on this villa is baddies, mind you. Nobody's saying only baddies love Alandria, only baddies love Shelly, because it's like, I mean, yeah, everybody on this villa is literally baddies. Why do you feel the need to compare yourself to her, or make being a Huda fan being Huda? You're not Huda. It's so weird. And the parasocial relationships of it all was just very jarring to see. And I made a video about desirability politics and all that, and that's all that I wanted to talk about on my TikTok. And it was about when Huda said, if I was ugly, would it be better? And it was just like, oh, like Huda was just losing me. She was losing me, but I'm gonna wrap this part up because it's a lot. You can watch other people's TikToks to just get more perspective on that. But it was just a point where someone has said, I was just making a point like, Huda sees herself as desirable. Nobody on this villa has brought up another girl's looks other than Huda. When Amaya comes into the villa, it's immediately competition because Amaya said that she wants to talk to Jeremiah. Is she prettier than me? No. Does she look better than me? No. It's like, wait, why are we doing this? Like, aren't you y'all gotta be friends. Y'all don't have to be friends. And that was the whole thing on this villa. But it's like, why is it automatically that? Why are you automatically putting yourself in a competition with her? Same thing with how she said, if I was ugly, would it make it better? Why are we bringing looks into the equation when every single girl on this villa is absolutely gorgeous? Why? So I just made it a point on TikTok to say that I feel like she believes that she should be absolved of the harm that she has caused to other people because she is pretty. So she's like, well, why am I being treated like this? Is it because I'm pretty? She wouldn't be mad if I was ugly. And it's like, no, it's not even that. Like, what a middle school point of view. It's the fact that you are showing hypocrisy. In the beginning, we were not doing anything with Jeremiah. Mind you, I have no idea if the girls thought Jeremiah was cute. I have no idea if they were attracted to him, anything. We, out of respect for you, we were not kissing Jeremiah. We weren't doing anything with Jeremiah. So we just expect that same respect in return, and you did not give it. So now Shelly is mad. Simple. That's it. That's all that it is. And Shelly explained this to a T. Now, I was saying that Shelly was dragging it along for a very long time, and I think she even forgot what she was mad about, and there was no other thing to do other than to squash the beef. It was just very weird. What a weird time. But I want to get back to Shelly really quick, because the anti-blackness post Villa has actually been insane. And I know I keep talking about that male challenge, but I really feel like that male challenge was a really pivotal moment in the series, and really was just a dark time, and it really made me not even want to be online to interact with anything Love Island related, because I just knew what the narratives were going to be after that, because Shelly and Alandria finally decided to speak up. Did I think Alandria shouldn't have said anything about Huda and Chris's kiss? Yes. I was like, this isn't her place to say this. But just like with people saying Andreina was being messy for listening to what Huda had to say and bringing it down to Shelly, Alandria is friends with Shelly more than she is with Huda. I don't know why everybody is acting like it's a crime to deliver some information to your real friend about what somebody is saying about you. Huda said out of her mouth, the icing on the cake was that I got Ace's heart rate up. I think that Huda gets validation from men. Her validation does not come from within. It comes from how other people perceive her and how men want her. So the fact that she got Ace's heart rate up, I think was good enough for her. But seeing how now you have turned off everybody in the villa, because yes, everybody in the villa says she was doing too much. Now that is not your perspective anymore because you don't want to be perceived as the bad guy. So now you're crying. Shelly's so mean. She didn't want to talk to me. But you were just upstairs saying the icing on the cake is that I got Ace's heart rate up. Did you say that to Shelly? No, you didn't. Shelly and Alandria are having a moment where one, Alandria has been being dogged this entire time by Taylor and has been holding that in. So she finally opens her mouth to say something. She's having a conversation with Huda. Huda's saying she kissed Chris, and it's like everybody tells Alandria everything. So Alandria is in a bad mood because she knows what's about to happen tonight, and she's ready to, let Taylor have it. So she overhears this with Huda saying like, oh, I picked Chris for you. I picked Chris for you. And Shelly just wants her to just admit, you're not doing this for me. Stop saying that you're doing this for me. Just be real. You want Chris. That's okay. Just stop saying that you're doing this for me and only me, and you brought him here for me. And no, you want Chris. Talk to Chris. Stop saying that you're doing this for me, because if you're doing this for me, the way that you're moving, it does not correlate to you doing this for me. Then Alandria with the assist comes in and says, well, yeah, Huda, you're saying this, that you're doing this for Shelly, but didn't you and him kiss? That pissed Chris and Huda off, because it's like, why would you say that? Why would you drop that bomb? But like I said, just like Andreina is more friends with Shelly, Alandria is Shelly's girl. Yeah. If we talking and you arguing with somebody, I'm gonna come in with an assist. God forbid. It's like it was just a lot of like interpersonal things that were happening that people were just acting like was so horrible. But just off of that moment, the girls get into it. They're at the fire pit the next episode, and everybody's having a kumbaya moment because here's the thing. Everybody got their lashings that night. But no, Huda wants to sit to the side and sulk and not be involved in a conversation and want to pretend like nobody wants to talk to her. Y'all were running with that narrative like, oh my God, they're icing out Huda. No, she just wants attention and she wants somebody to be like, oh no, what's wrong? Which Amaya is always going to do. That's my girl. And then Huda is like, I don't want to talk about it. Then goes to the speakeasy. Girl, if you didn't want to talk, you shouldn't have been sitting in a circle. Mind you, production probably wouldn't have allowed that for her to not be in the kumbaya moment, not be sitting at the fire pit, but whatever. The thing about it is when you get into it with people, or if this is really a sisterhood friendship, like everybody is saying, everybody got lashings that night. So everybody's sitting and talking about the fact that they got lashings and they can relate and bond off of the moment that was just had and move past it. Why is Huda singling herself out to be like, I got it so bad tonight, I was jumped and everybody hates me? It's like, no, everybody got it bad that night. Quite literally, Alandria got embarrassed. Shelly about to lose both her men. Grayson got humiliated on account of you, and you didn't feel like you needed to be a part of that discussion to say, hey, that's not my intention in doing that. Let me explain. But you could tell Chris in the middle of the night. It's just insane. Alandria and Shelly, for some reason, has not recovered from that singular moment in the villa. And why is that? Anti-blackness, misogynoir, genuine. Like when I tell you the mean girl label has not unstuck from them. And I said in the stream, and I always make sure to say this stuff out loud. Before they even talked, before Shelly and Huda even talked, I was like, if the girls talk and they apologize, we also need to get over it. But for some reason, y'all can get over it when Huda was terrorizing the villa for 3 damn weeks. And then ruining the finale. Now, mind you, Iris and Pepe had a hand in that too. They should not have been there. But no smoke. All is forgiven. But Shelly and Alandria have one singular moment of negativity, speaking their mind, being emotional, and they have not recovered from this faux mean girl label, one that you guys have been giving them. Now, Huda all of a sudden is Nick and Alandria's child. Now she's being infantilized. But Shelly and Alandria are the mean girls still to this day. You guys are anti-black. The mean girl aggressive label always sticks on black women more than anybody. And I don't appreciate these big platforms pushing this narrative. Who was that? Whoever the hell Adeline is, Adeline, whoever the hell, never heard of her, talking about this is Shelly and Alandria and it's a punching bag? Have you lost your mind?
It's Alandria and Shelly.
The Times article, mind you, the show is over. Why are we making posts about Shelly's behavior in the villa and then misquoting her saying that Shelly said to save it when really that was Alandria talking to Zach? So not only are you guys misquoting Shelly, but you're also getting the black girls mixed up in order to push a narrative that Shelly is just so mean. Mind you, we haven't heard a peep from Shelly since she left the villa. Why are articles coming out about how she was being a mean girl on the villa? The BuzzFeed post with the knuckle sandwich? Are you serious? What is this about? Like, I just could not believe the cycle and the narratives that were being continuously pushed for Shelly and Alandria when we barely even heard Shelly speak for the first half of the show. For most of the damn show, she was in a love triangle and booed up with Ace. So I'm confused as to why this one moment where she gets into it with her man and she's mad at Huda for the heart rate challenge, and then they apologize and get over it and become kumbaya after that. Are these narratives still sticking on her? I was watching a stream with Jeremiah with somebody by the name of Cinnabrit. And I know who this person is, of course, because I watch like AMP streams. I watch Agent on Twitch as well. There was a moment where Jeremiah goes to the bathroom and whoever the hell else that was sitting with her came in and was like, let's talk about the mean girls. And I was like, huh?
Also, I don't think he might not know this, but the whole like them ganging up on Huda in the second to last episode, we haven't talked about it. We haven't talked about it.
They're being mean.
And the worst part was I was like an Alandria ride or die. And I still really like her.
Too.
I still really like her, but like that was just giving mean girl in the worst way possible.
It was giving mean girl. I also don't like how Sierra like acts like she owns the place. Like I was a Sierra
Shelly too.
I was a
like,
Sierra stan until then.
Like my thing is like, how is Huda not allowed to kiss Chris, but Shelly can claim domain on Chris and Ace?
Also, Shelly's like Ace said that he wanted to explore, but he said that before Casa.
Have you seen Shelly, Alandria, and Sierra recently and the clip with them and the situation?
All I've seen is
You haven't
they
seen
did this and they did that. No, bro. Bro, there's so much to enjoy. I'm not like, oh, drama. I'm like, oh, blessings. That's just me though. That's a false narrative.
Do you think that there's like a mean girl like or mean guy, I guess, because I want to apply to both, hierarchy in the villa?
I mean, I can only speak for when I was there, because after that, I have no context and no. All I can speak on when I was there. Yeah, there was definitely like a clique when I was there. Everyone knows that.
Okay, who were the cliques?
It was, Ace, Nick, and Taylor. That was like the clique. And then I kind of was in there a little bit, but then they didn't like how I was moving, so it's kind of like me, Austin, and everyone else on the outside. Me, Austin, and Charlie, like doing our own thug thizzle.
Okay, all right. I want you to rate all of the members of Love Island from when you were on it, okay? So like anybody that you were on it with.
Yeah.
From least to most toxic.
Sierra wasn't really toxic to me. She was really nice to me. Alandria, super nice to me. She was like the soul of the girls. Honestly, like the soul. Shelly, from me being in the villa, Shelly was mad nice to me. So I got no problem with Shelly. She's not toxic to me. Is that everyone?
Did you do Alandria?
Yeah, she's like the soul of the group.
Okay.
And they were just having this back and forth about how Alandria and Shelly are mean girls. Oh, I liked Alandria at first, but now I don't like her. I don't think people understand the weight of the things that they say, which is why even with the platform that I have, I'm not even as huge as some of these people. I'm not even as huge as the Times and freaking BuzzFeed and these people with millions of people that watch them. I understand the weight of the things that you say when you have any inkling of an audience, because that stuff matters. Whoever the hell Steph with the deets is was completely anti-Alandria and Shelly the whole time. I had her blocked. Had to unblock her to get a screenshot of her page just to talk about this. It's just so unfortunate to see. And it's like, of course, everybody can have their opinions, but it gets to a point where I have to call a spade a spade. You guys are anti-Black. and more so anti-Black women, and the misogynoir jumps out at any time where you don't even realize that you're not even able to give Black women grace for just being human. Because it's not about, oh, they did this and it was so wrong and I can't forgive them for that. No, it's that you guys were waiting on a moment to confirm the narratives that you already wanted to place on these people, and now it can't get unstuck. Which is why Alandria had to constantly suppress her feelings in the villa because of stuff like this. And mind you, we haven't heard a peep out of Alandria since she left the villa. Like, she do be online, but Nick is like, she's shy. She's shy. She's taking her time. You know, now Nick is the mouthpiece. She don't got to do all the talking no more, but like she was with Taylor. But the narratives that you guys are putting on them is literally none of the narratives that anybody in the villa has said about them. Everybody that was actually living with them has said that they are sweet. They are confidants. They were there for me at every moment. God forbid the girls get into it for one day. God forbid, including Huda. Like, look, yes, they was into it with Huda, but Huda is over it. Shelly's over it. Like, there are two sides to this. If they're over it, we all need to be over it. But then when I was also continuing to watch the Senna stream, you can tell that she was trying to inch Jeremiah into saying something negative about Alandria, like, oh, rank the people from toxic, least toxic to most toxic. And he's like, oh yeah, says it, gives all the people, he says, oh yeah, Alandria, that's my girl, we cool, love her, this and that. He says the final two, he's like, I mean, of course I'm gonna have to say the guys that voted me off, toxic, and then of course Huda, toxic. And he says all that, and she's like, oh, did you say Alandria? And he was like, yeah, I said Alandria, I said she's cool. Bruh, it's just pissing me off. But anyway, let's get into the top two couples. Now, we've been talking for quite some time. I mean, if you're watching this, I hope you stuck around until the end. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on all this stuff, of course, but we're gonna get into my shit. We're gonna get into Nick Alandria. Now, when we had to vote for our favorite guy and our favorite girl, I voted Nick and I voted Alandria. I, at the time, was not a Nick Alandria shipper, but I did enjoy the content. I did. I was never anti-Nick Alandria. I was like, what are people seeing? But one thing I am is delusional. So every single piece of evidence that people were putting out about Nick and Alandria, I believed it. But what really got me onto the Nick Alandria ship to the point where I had to repost it, it was a TikTok that was like when you guys are eyeing each other from across the function or something. I'm gonna put it in if I find it. I had to repost it. And that's what got me on board. So thank you, production, for allowing this to happen and constantly putting them in predicaments to choose each other. No, it's not forced. Please, Lil Yachty.
Who wanted Nick Alandria? I ain't gonna lie, that relationship seemed a little fake to me. It seemed a little scripted. I'm talking. My bad.
No, it's not forced. And I think that is really weird that only this couple is getting the forced allegations. Mind you, there was a producer's hand in them getting together. But why is Nick being asked about, is he really attracted to Alandria? Why did he choose Alandria? Why? Why wouldn't he be attracted to Alandria when, mind you, from day one in the villa, that has been the truth that has been spoken out of his mouth, is that he likes he finds Alandria attractive, he enjoys their kiss. He finds Alandria attractive, he enjoys it. Any moment that he gets, he is talking about his attraction to Alandria. The Nick Alandria stands, the proof is in the pudding. They have been documenting all of this stuff every step of the way. Why is this the only couple that is getting questioned about their attraction? Where more so Nick's attraction to Alandria. You guys are anti-Black. That's the whole second half of this. You guys are anti-Black. Why wouldn't Nick be attracted to Alandria? Y'all have to explain. Just like how y'all gonna have to explain why Shelly would be jealous of Huda, Ariana. The narratives that are being pushed. Why? Also, y'all online, why would Shelly be jealous of Huda? Also, answer that question without sounding weird as hell. Please. Why? Someone had tagged me in some post saying, oh, this is what I meant in relation to some TikTok I had posted about desirability politics, and it was a Black girl saying that Shelly was jealous of Huda and what Huda had to say was valid. I'm telling y'all, low racial self-esteem. Low racial self-esteem. When I tell you that TikTok pissed me off, I was like, don't ever tag me in nothing like this ever again. Why on earth would Shelly be jealous of Huda? All of them are gorgeous women. I'm speaking Black women, have to come to grips in yourself why you are putting Huda on a pedestal. Instead of just agreeing that you're beautiful, she's beautiful. Hey, I stand beautiful women. We're all in this together. Like, I can objectively say Huda has been a gorgeous girl, one of the baddest on the villa. I don't have to put her on a pedestal in order to degrade a Black woman. Not happening. Not happening. Sorry, I went back. I'm supposed to be talking about Nick and Landry, but no, literally, I genuinely think that there's something in Huda that you guys aspire to be, that you want to be, and y'all gonna have to look in the mirror and take that up with yourselves. But anyway, Nick and Landria and the invisible string theory. I just really do feel like this was just supposed to happen. Him talking about I like to travel and this and that, and he was like, I went to Thailand. She's like, oh, I love Thailand. And they start talking about that, and he's talking about I need to go to Alabama, sir. Alandria don't even live in Alabama. Alandria lives in Texas. So why do you need to go to Alabama? Nobody on planet Earth has ever said, I need to go to Alabama. Everything that I have heard about Alabama through history and school, I don't want to go to Alabama. That's not a place that I would like to go. They probably got great stuff down there. But I'm not trying to go to Alabama. But anyway, it was just meant to be. Just seeing how they are now, Ace and Shelly meeting each other before the villa, Nick and Jeremiah meeting each other before the villa. It's like, production and casting needs to do a better job at not casting people that know each other like this, or just revamp the way that they're doing this casting process. I feel like outside of them not realizing that all of them are going to be on Love Island together, it's just like, what are the odds of us being on Love Island together and actually being forced to be together and finding love in each other is actually insane. Nick and Alandria, we won. I'm enjoying the Nick content, honestly. I voted for Alandria every single time. I voted Nick as my favorite guy, and then I voted Alandria as my favorite girl. That never changed. Nick, however, had pissed me off, so I couldn't in my right mind vote for him, and I think I voted for Ace in the last favorite guy, favorite girl. Of course, voted Alandria, but I ended up voting Ace, and people were like, why did you vote Ace? I'm like, Chris, a lot of people were voting Chris, but I was like, I need to get to know Chris more before I just say he's my favorite. I forgot to say, in the times when Chris and Huda were getting into it, I was like, I don't know, is he being performative or is this real? Is he being performative or is this real? But I genuinely think he was being real. I feel like he was genuinely giving Huda grace and patience and trying to make it work, but Huda just wouldn't make it work. Like somebody said, D1 vibe killer. She, in the baby challenge, was doing too much. Doing absolutely too much. Now, he kept telling her to shut up. That was the only thing. I was like, okay, now if the guy I'm pursuing is telling me to shut up, I'm gonna just think you want me to shut the fuck up, okay? I was like, he need to stop saying that to her, because that would have hurt my feelings, and I would have just been like, okay, I guess you just want me to shut up then. Okay, I'm gonna just shut up. And I would have been like, oh, you don't like me, great. Like, it was just so many signs that all of this could have been avoided. You guys don't like each other. They're leading the yoga class. She started out saying, hey, we're about to lead a yoga class, baby yoga. Chris starts talking. He's going around asking everybody if they have anything to say. As far as the people he can see, he forgets to mention Huda. Shelly clocks it, calls on Huda. Huda completely takes that whole moment and runs. And it was just like, I thought you guys were leading the class. I mean, yes, he could have called on you to say, do you have anything to say? But I thought you were leading the class. Like, if you got something to say, say it. You're leading the class. How you just all of a sudden take a back seat? A back seat. But anyway, Nick and Alandria. Yeah, that was my ship. That was literally my ship. Before it was Nick and Alandria, I was definitely Brian and Amaya. We talked about it in the stream. Everybody was like, oh, I thought we collectively agreed that we were going to be voting Brian and Amaya. Me and Nivier, love you girl. She joined every single stream and joined the discussions, which, like I said, I'm gonna upload the discussions on here as a podcast so you guys can listen to it. We were like, that was the case. But then Nick and Alandria happened. And I've been rooting Nick and Alandria, and we got it. I can't go back. And also, that makes me just honest. I voted Alandria every time. So this just makes me consistent. I'm voting Alandria again for the finale. And they got second place, period. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been getting too much in the conversations of the Nick Alandria stuff outside of me just loving them, because it's getting weird. It's getting weird. Like I said, why are they the only couple that's being questioned on attraction? And is this real? This seems fraud. It seems fake. I'm on to you. I'm clocking tea. But also just the interracial dating conversations and the biracial baby conversations. Of course, it's not weird until it gets weird. I feel like some people just don't know how to keep things surface level, and their weird fetishes and weird internalized like things start coming out, and it's like I can't join y'all on these conversations. I'm sorry. It's getting weird, so I'm a step back, which is why I wasn't saying too much during that baby challenge one, because I was like, it's gonna get weird. Nick is getting Justin Bieber allegations with what did Drewski say? He's a white boy with a black soul. Mind you, I was like, is that not the plot of Get Out? Is that not the whole plot line of Get Out? I don't want to hear anybody ever say anything like that ever again. Mind y'all be inviting everybody to the cookout that know how to do a little two-step, but I digress. But it was just getting weird really fast, so I'm just going to enjoy my ship in peace without involving myself too much in the conversations. Let's talk about our winners of season 7. Brian and Amaya. One, I knew Amaya was going to win. Amaya is just universally loved. Loved the speech that Nick gave her at the end, because really, she has had the craziest journey outside of Alandria, who top 2 girls, Amaya top 2, number 2. Top 2 girls have been through the most in this villa, and ended up really finding a connection in the end, because that was the thing. Nick said, you know, he was voting for Huda to get out the house, but then, you know, they would have conversations. They've been in the villa long enough, and he was like, oh, I feel like she deserves a chance. That was my reason of voting for voting for Alandria. And my want to see Amaya win was because y'all, one, have not wavered on your morals, your personality. Y'all haven't wavered on anything that is internally you for anybody. And for that, I applauded them. And that is why they're at the top, because they have been the most real and the most genuine. Brian standing up for her to be like, hey, look, in Hispanic culture, that's just how we talk. And that's what you guys were saying online as well before Brian even spit it out. Because it was like, y'all do need to give her some grace, because this is just how we talk. We talked about how it is in the South, where everybody gonna call you baby, everybody gonna call you honey. That's just how some people talk. I don't know why they were taking it so personal to say, oh, she want me so much. She don't want y'all. Get that through y'all thick skulls, Austin. Mind you, forgot to clock him earlier for those microaggressions towards Amaya. Y'all, when I tell y'all I was mad, I was mad.
There's always more negative shit than positive shit. You understand that?
That's why I said I didn't want to come off like I was.
It doesn't matter. You're still here.
Hang on, Amaya. This is not your conversation. This is
I
between
know it's
us.
not my conversation, but we have all the right to put our inputs in it. It's like you just keep on focusing on the guys who got sent home, and why does that matter?
This was a chance to air stuff out, Amaya.
All right.
Do you not understand what a chance to air stuff out is? Because I was airing stuff out.
You don't need to interpret that for me. I understand that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that,
like you do.
no, I understand that. Don't be disrespectful to me like that.
I didn't even hear the microaggressions until after the episode was over, with him talking about, do you not understand what talking and getting, whatever the hell he was talking about, he had to get off my villa. And she was like, don't disrespect me like that, because period, clock his tea. And Brian stepping in for him, because it was like, I mean, y'all need to give her some grace. She don't like y'all like that, okay? Y'all trying to say it like she's special and want y'all so bad. Mind you, she treats everybody exactly the same. Everybody is going to get the exact same amount of love out of Amaya, because that's just who she is. And if y'all don't like it, she's going to renege on that, like she has been doing. So that was just irritating to me. But I feel like that was the catalyst for Brian to get this whole thing in motion, for him and Amaya to be a thing. Now, people were saying they kiss a lot, all they do is kiss, but I do feel like they connect in a way that she did not connect with other people, and I would not have wanted to see anybody else make it into the finale with Amaya, who we knew for sure was going to win, other than Brian. Like, it was the perfect ending to their love story with them winning. Amaya is my girl. Everybody switched up on her, and I'm glad she clocked that too, because she even said out her mouth in the podcast that, like, yeah, she noticed that people started to treat her differently after they realized she was America's favorite. And mind you, if you go back and watch that episode and see how everybody was ranked, and when we were voting for our favorites, that's exactly how the finale went. So it was actually not a shocker at all that that's what happened, because, like, yeah, we've already voted. Even Huda not even being all the way at the bottom. Her making it to the finale just because y'all wanted to prove something, y'all really did her completely dirty. She was going to make it to the top for sure. And I'm not going to lie. I made a TikTok. I thought she was going to win. I did. I thought the Huda stands were going to come through. But look, the Amaya love, the Amaya papayas just reign stronger. But there was a couple things I didn't talk about. I guess Chris and Huda's date. She wanted him to carry her. That singer came out. What an awkward moment. what an awkward moment that was with that date. There was like, we paid for entertainment, y'all gonna get this entertainment. Send the singer out. Send that singer out. Her having the audacity to wanting to be carried after they just got into it. This is what I mean, what I said earlier, where it's like, yes, Chris could still be a gentleman. He was like, I'll help. That's what I said. I was like, girl, for you to just break it off with him, one, I know his ego was hurt, one, that she broke it off. And people were like, he was egging her on for her to break it off. I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did, because I think that she otherwise would have not if this was earlier Huda. And I'm glad that she did, and realizing that, you know what, this is not going to work. We have to end it here. I applauded her for that, because it was like, finally, you saying all these red flags and all these things, break it off with him now. This is not going to work. I didn't appreciate that people were not being honest with Chris. You can obviously tell he was looking for an out, and people were not being honest with the fact that this was not working and kept telling him to make it work when he does not want to make it work. His family said it, Brian said it, shockingly Ace said it. I was like, I'm so confused. Anyway, they get into it at the date. She wants him to carry her. And I was like, I would not carry her. And Chris was like, I'm not carrying you. And I'm like, why would he? Why would he, y'all? Now, it is a thing to say a guy should treat you the same, or anybody should treat you the same, whether they're mad at you or not, because how they treat you when they're mad at you shows how they really feel. That's how he really felt. I would not carry her. He obviously does not like her. One thing though, is like, I mean, the gentlemanliness was that he came back. I think he was gonna help her. I don't freaking know. It's like, I would have been like, you know, I'll carry your shoes, take your shoes off, I'll carry your heels for you, but I'm not carrying you. Like, I was just like, the audacity of that was absolutely insane. I think that's everything I had to say, y'all. I've been talking for 2 hours. 2 hours. This is like the ultimate Love Island USA recap. Your unemployed friend on a Wednesday, period. What would I like to see for the next season of Love Island? One, this is the perfect cast for the Beyond the Villa. A lot of people were saying that they would be the perfect cast for like a Jersey Shore situation, period. I agree. But less influencers next season. Like, I know that that's kind of the thing of today. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg. Maybe it's the chicken. It's saying that everybody wants to be models and influencers and seen to some capacity. So when you're reaching out to people through modeling agencies and stuff, they're probably going to have some type of following online. And so they're going to know each other in some capacity, because as big as online is, it is small. Ace was in Huda's likes. Ace also kissed Huda. Andreina and Shelly knew each other from modeling gigs. Nick said he met Jeremiah doing catering at some event or something. Ace said he met Pepe. It's just a small, big world. You know what I mean? So maybe let's do a little bit more vetting, especially with how many slur scandals we had in this season, and just lesser known people that really don't know much about Love Island, which is going to be hard now because it's one of the biggest shows, but like just regular people that are really looking for love and not for a moment to be on TV. I think the parasocial aspect of this season went very far, too far. I posted about this on TikTok, of course, just to say like less voting. And I know I've been watching Love Island for years. I know that is how the show is. We vote. It happens in real time. There's a lot of viewer influence in this show, but we are not in the same times as we were before. Love Island was huge in the UK version. It was, but it's not as big as it is now. Less viewer involvement, less voting. And that's what I was going to say. Somebody commented and was like, that's how the show is. Y'all need to understand. But it's like, no, the parasocial aspect of this show and the fact that people sit at home with nothing better to do and just get a thrill out of controlling people's lives as big as this show got. We need to see the original show that production had planned without the influence of the timeline. Stop giving us fan service. Stop solidifying, or at least, solidifying the fact that we have control over what happens in the villa. Too much fan service. Some people, that's too much power. And I feel like that's where this season went left, was that there was just too much audience influence and audience power, and they just need to do their job and produce a TV show with how they think that the TV show should go without the influence of the people outside. Maybe let us vote 3 times max for our favorites, maybe somebody to go home one time, and then for the finale. But just give us the show that y'all originally had planned and produced. Do y'all job. Look, with as much audience influence as this season had, we need to be on payroll, because Nick and Alandria would not have happened if it wasn't for the timeline. So do y'all jobs of what y'all getting paid for and produce the show that y'all originally had without the audience influence. That's all I got to say. Again, thank you everyone who joined the live streams and was a part of that whole journey. I do want to stream Beyond the Villa starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I do want to stream to Beyond the Villa, so follow me on TikTok. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell to stay up to date with posts and uploads from me. And let me know your thoughts on Love Island USA Season 7. For now, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.